Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the RLCS X EU Spring Major. I'm Jarjam. Together with Talacto and Digital Bacon, will be going through the proceedings, start of the day, talk about what has happened, what's just about to happen as we are finishing up the European season for RLCS X. And Bacon, for one, it has just been nice to be back for a major, isn't it?
It is indeed. Of course, over here on the Rocket, we didn't get to do the spring split. We're here for the winter split. So we're a little bit upset because we were like, we want to get in all that action. Naturally, all of us were involved in the grid, so it wasn't too painful. But to come back from the majors, it is pretty pog.
That's how the cool kids say, right, Talacto?
Yes.
Welcome to the show, and it's really nice to have you here as well. This is your first time on the major broadcast as well. But you do have your own experience of big things and big matches and everything. So how are you feeling now in the role of an observer more than anything?
I feel like sometimes it can even be just as nerve-wracking watching as it is in terms of playing, to be fair. At no point do you have to use words like pog, though. We don't use them as adjectives because we're way ahead of the time. We're not like Bacon. He's lost. He's gone insane, you know. But I mean, it is nice, certainly, to be here for the major as well in terms of what it means for the overall standings as well. Sure, we know BDS are first. We all know BDS were first. I mean, Vitality aren't even actually confirmed second, but I feel like they effectively are, right? I mean, they need to just not come rock bottom, and Top Blokes need to just not win it effectively. That's like the only scenario they lose their second spot. But like, you look at Solary, they've got to make up a lot of ground, but still a bizarre situation given that we do have the 6 championship spots locked in.
All right, let's take a look at that, and as well as some of the other standings of the teams and how the season has gone so far. First of all, of course, a look at the format of the whole tournament and the prize pool that is going to be there. We are, of course, looking at the huge selection of cash and point prizes as well. And those points, as you already mentioned to allude to, Talacto, it would be some of the most important things going into the European Championships, the tournament that has now replaced World Championships as a whole. There's still places to be made up or lost in the seeding for the championships. All of the teams that already have been selected for championships are A, already playing in this tournament, B, already made their spots there. But with the exception of Team BDS, who have notched that number 1 seed, there still can be some movement. And as Talacto said, there's still a chance for somebody to either leapfrog everyone or perhaps lose and go down at the dreaded 5th and 6th spots. And of course, as you can see, 36,000 to the top team, as well as 902 points. We're all thinking that it might be Team BDS that might take us, or there might be a surprise, and we've been in for just a couple. And of course, the schedule for today as well. We're going to be having 4 matches on the day, and those matches are going to be, we're going to start with a pretty big one, I would have to say, out of the old games that we can potentially show. You know what, immediately starting with Team BDS versus German Amigos, though, but Team BDS versus German Amigos is going to be our very first match of the day. White Demons versus Top Blokes are going to follow that. Team Queso, German Amigos, again on the stream as our third match. And finally, Aether, or SK Gaming, as they're now known, versus Top Blokes are going to close off our day as well. And Talacto, actually, out of all these games, how about which one is your favorite? Which one do you think all the eyes are going to be on?
I mean, obviously, I'm biased towards German Amigos BDS. I'm hoping for a fantastic series there. But just in terms of seeing the sort of newly acquired roster, I'm very much looking forward to SK versus Top Blokes. As whilst they might not be 2 of the top performing teams this split, it still kind of feels like quite a heavyweight matchup.
All right, what about you, Vic?
I've got to agree with the SK Gaming versus Top Blokes matchup. And I mean, SK Gaming is going to be the big talking point within this major, of course, coming in this split as Aether now getting picked on up by the big org that is SK Gaming. You know, their return, they were here back during the start of Rocket League, so coming back, and this is going to be a heavy hitting match because, as you said earlier, Talacto, Top Blokes are really looking to get as many points so they're not safe in third, and basically that third spot is a major selling point to make it through to European Championship, because of course then you're guaranteed a second life. You're part of that double all-in bracket. 5th, 6th have to start in the lower bracket, so top blokes using everything they can, and SK could come into that one as the denier. The same there as well, it could be argued with the White Demons top bloke match, because White Demons on their day are a super scary side.
And how about that, Talacto? SK Gaming are one of the teams right now who are actually together for this major. They are in the same room playing. They have been boot camping for a while. How big of a difference will it make? Already, obviously, we've seen the rise of Aether, now SK Gaming side, during the spring split. Now they're in an even better position. They have an org backing them. The org is now organizing these things. How... If you're just gonna put some theoretical points, or I don't know, percentage-wise, how much powerful does that make a team?
I mean, a percentage is hard to give. I think it's hard to ignore the fact also that being acquired by an org as a player and as a team, it can also be somewhat of a double-edged sword. You can look at it one way and say it's great. You've got this huge org at your back. It's a massive boost, and I'd like to think that it will be for them. But you can also say there's a lot more pressure. You know, there's more people you can disappoint. It's hard because that's not the sort of things you want in your head while you're playing. But it'd be curious to see which way it goes. But as you say, they are there. They will be playing effectively from boot camp. And to be honest, what a boot camp it looks like. The introduction video and everything look fantastic. It looks as even as if Snasky even got a car out of it, if I'm not mistaken, which is just fantastic. But I mean, SK, huge org. I mean, one of the longest standing orgs pretty much ever. I think they might be the longest standing org that's still around. It's so impressive that they are back in Rocket League, and it's great to see as well. In terms of a boost, I will pull a number out of thin air and say it's a 40% performance boost, and I hope to see them do well.
All right, over under on that, Bacon?
It's weird, like you said there, Tyler. There's double-edged sword top blokes, right? That's the biggest one, where as soon as they got acquired back in January time, that pressure seemed to have gone, and where they had relaxed, they had, in a way, done the job, which every player wants to do, and that's get signed. They sort of just fell off. They're coming back now, and of course, their job was so fantastic back during the winter split that they pretty much from that point secured themselves all the way into these European Championships. But at the same time, you got to think, when you look at BS Plus, right, their second tournament playing under, when they finally got picked up, was a little bit of a slump as well. So it's always that case of, I feel generally with most teams, the tournament after you get picked up is a bit of a disappointment, but then after that, that's when they hit home. Like, it's the end of the honeymoon period. It's now got serious, and I worry a little bit for SK there. But when you look at these three players, they've got so much experience within the RLCS, so that sort of aspect goes away. They've all done it before. They've been picked up by orgs and teams, and when you're coming in to the major, one of the most, well, just difficult tournaments as it is, it should be fine. They should know how to get the job done, and they're three lads who work super hard.
Yeah, there's some points to be proven for sure for Yukio, Ixo, and Tox. We're going to be seeing them later on the stream. But let's also talk about other teams that are perhaps a bit of a surprise here during the major. You would expect the big hitters, but instead, White Demons, BS Plus competition, SK Gaming themselves, and German Amigos going in as the wildcard spot from the grid. Tylacto, perhaps bar the German Amigos, they actually really worked well during the grid, or maybe counting them as well. I haven't actually read your mind just yet. Which is the biggest surprise participant for this major out of these four? Or perhaps you have a fifth one in mind?
I think it has to be German Amigos. When you look at the contrast, the fact they got that grid wildcard spot, it's like, I love German Amigos and I really want them to put up a massive showing in our first series. But if you look at their regionals performance, right, they only made one of the regionals. Now, that's kind of surprising for a team that has now made the major, because you suddenly look at their grid performance and you're like, who are these guys? Like, this is kind of insane. It was an incredible run that they had there to finish so well. And to me, that is just the out-and-out surprise. But you're right, BS Plus competition as well have had a fantastic breakout spring split. And with these teams all having different amounts to sort of play for, these games are getting really hard to call.
And Bacon, actually, for you, I have another question. Obviously, with White Demons BS competition, SK Gaming German Amigos, we have lost 4 or perhaps even more teams who would have made this spot, and there's some big shocks of teams not making the major. Dignitas, Galaxy Racer, Endpoint, Team Singularity, Team Liquid. What about the biggest shock for you? Which one of these teams just had to make this? Vodafone Giants also is one of the teams that I forgot to mention. What is one of the biggest shocks, the team that really had to be here but for whatever reason didn't, and now we're all just scratching our noggins?
Yeah, it is either Vodafone Giants or Dignitas. I'm going to give, like, both those two teams have great points behind them. Of course, when you look at Dignitas, they were looking to finally have found their form together as a squad, and then just at the last hurdle, it fell. Vodafone Giants, for the whole of the spring split, I think to many people have just sort of fizzled on out. They finally looked to have everything together, you know, with Itachi on board, but now it's sort of just gone to nothing. And Vodafone Giants currently at this point in time are something like 4th in the point standing, but where they're not in these majors, they're not going to be going to the European Championships, which is absolutely crazy. So I don't know if it's a case of they thought they were just safe and so just let it slip at the last moment because they weren't putting as much energy in, as much concentration, but that really, really hurts on this side because they're fantastic talents, and Dignitas as well. They've stuck with those players for so long, and in a very similar story, made it to, I think, 7th in the points, and then because they weren't at the major, not being able to get there. That's crazy, but it's all purely because these newer teams coming on through, you know, when you're looking at BS Plus, you're looking at SK Gaming, German Amigos, and, of course, White Demons, they're upsetting the established competition, and for me, definitely with those teams anyway, it was more about where they don't have orgs, where they're bursting on. You know, you get that pick-up team mentality. Newly formed teams are always a very powerful thing in Rocket League because you don't know what they're going to be playing like. There's no predictions, no homework put on in there. And so they're just naturally coming out of the gates playing their own game, and they're sort of in that honeymoon period with each other. That you look at, for me right now, German Amigos are a scary threat because they're probably the next team to get signed. They've already had a great grid split. German team through and through, of course. So I guess with Ivan as well, who is Austrian. Is it? Yeah, Austrian. So you could imagine there's some great orgs, like German orgs right there going, that's the team we want to pick up because, of course, we've got the Intel World Series coming up. You know, in partnership with the Olympics, and you basically, again, with MK, their sub, another German player, have a fully German squad there, which is going to be a great pickup for anyone.
Well, that really sets up our first match perfectly. It's Team BDS versus German Amigos. For Team BDS, of course, it is opportunity to not just do the triple, 3 majors in a row, the only possible way, the only possible team that can make it so far. All the other regions are failed to do so. They can also pick up their 10th trophy in RLCS X season. For this opener could have not been any better. Other matches quickly happening at the same time. Team Queso versus BS Plus competition on twitch.tv/Rocket League. Solary versus White Demons on twitch.tv/UGC. We'll bring you those results as well as Guild Esports versus Top Blokes match score a little bit later. But first, Bacon, Talacto, take it away.
Talacto, my dude. Again, we haven't casted with each other since it was RLRS back in Season 8 of the RLCS, because that's like when they sort of confirmed the name in between them. Like, I think RLCS Season 4 was also RLRS Season 1. It got a bit confused and Sonics fixed that. So yeah, it's been a while for us together, but what a match to come back into this. Like, real hot competition here, because German Amigos have lost the last 2 series, so they're going to want revenge. And I've got to quickly ask you this question before we hop onto the pitch. Do you think BDS are going to come in confident? Because BDS tend to have this weird little slow starting group stages where there's not as much pressure on, especially since they're locked into that top spot. Do you think BDS might just give up this game out of just not feeling into it? Or are we going to see that world-winning BDS that we all expect?
Oh, it's a very, very difficult question, to be fair, as Game 1 will be here on the field. It's curious, and I do hope we see BDS at their strongest, but you're spot on in noticing a pattern of I mean, I'm going to say underperformance, mainly because they've set themselves the highest of bars to sort of live up to in terms of their play. But yeah, they certainly will come in confident. I cannot imagine a BDS that isn't confident, to be honest, given the fact they have won the only 2 meetings against German Amigos, of course. But that is the thing. It's only 2. Against the likes of many other teams, they've got so many more and have never ever played in a regional or major sort of standpoint. The only 2 matchups were in the grid. So with that being said, I think German Amigos should also be confident given the fact that they similarly have nothing to lose, and Ivan is going to open things right up.
Ivan, for me, is always the ace when it comes to German Amigos. Don't get me wrong, Cataclysm and Rizex have the experience, but Ivan, the young gun coming on through from Austria, is just a diamond in the rough right now, akin to, you know, your Monkey Moon, akin to your Itachi, your Tox from seasons past. He is just coming on through so strong within this last split, especially grid, and making a great name for himself. Let's kick us off. That is the confidence that German Amigos needed, isn't it? And good stuff from Extra there to hold down the fort.
Is it the slow start from BDS that we talked about also? We want to give, of course, you know, German Amigos all the credit we can. You can only beat the team that is in front of you, but you're spot on. BDS have already got the first seed for the championships. They've already qualified for everything they possibly could. But to be fair, they'll want it to be a satisfying finish. You know, no other European team has won a major, and why not keep things that way? It would certainly be an emphatic statement, and so I'm sure they'll want to. But you could also say the format of the group stage, when you're BDS, does it matter if you finish 1st or 4th? Does it really matter if you're BDS? As long as you get to that knockout stage, you know you can beat anyone. But will and could that sort of arrogance backfire on them? We haven't really seen it just yet. But to be fair, their spring split has been their worst. But again, similarly, in that the bar was so high for them to set. I say that as they nearly link up nicely. It's just the sort of, you know, damn, BDS, you came, you know, semi-finals and you came 3rd. Like, come on, not even 3rd. They fell in the quarter-finals to Blokes, I believe, in the 1st regional, and that's just like, gosh, imagine only getting to the final day. That's so cheap, BDS. I think when we've got to that point and their standards are that high, I think it's just gone too far.
At the same time, you've got to think there is pride on the line here. BDS want to keep up with the work they've done before. Also, $100,000 on the line, so that's not to be snuffed at all.
Not bad.
But as we get into this halfway point, so much great back and forth. German Amigos really bringing their A game today. Ivan not going to be able to get his 2nd goal there. Marpe with great defense to take that off wide. Extra forcing a 50-50 shot by Marpe, but Cataclysm so strong in defense, but the attacks keep on coming a fake. But no, Ivan, great back post play.
Exactly, and how long can German Amigos keep this defense up is the question. To get a clean sheet against BDS is certainly something, and the longer you can keep up the defense, the longer you can restrict their offense, the more frustrated a team will usually get. Of course, we're not talking about a usual breed of team, but you know, if a team can't score for the likes of 5-10 minutes, it really does start to take a mental toll, and the frustration and impatience is inevitable at that point. And maybe that's what German Amigos can take advantage of, and they've done it for over 3 minutes now, forcing an uncharacteristic whiff from Extra there. I mean, to be fair, I think he was getting faked out by the shot. Speaking of faked, Monkey nearly got one of his own, but the defense again is there from German Amigos, and whilst it's not always comfortable, it is doing the job.
That's what you can really hope for at times, especially against BDS. Just make the saves. It doesn't have to look fancy as long as you stay ahead. Catalysm throwing the ball into the corner with a 50-50. Marpe's got so much ground with this ball, but it's sent right on back to the mid. Monkey Moon popping in the air for Extra. That's into the box, but no one's there. Good read by Monkey Moon to cheat on up. Pass on over to Extra, but it does not find the man, and Catalysm wants to run it away. Good little play against Marpe. Really awkward pacing onto that one. The pass on over to Extra to find into the corner. And this is almost, in a way, uncharacteristic for BDS to play such a ground game where you're just wanting to throw the ball down pitch instead of keeping a hold of the possession.
Yeah, it kind of is, you're right, but I guess they can sort of do it one way or another, and when they've got that sort of many different ways to attack. It makes them so damn hard to play against. You never know if they're going to rush a ball or whether they're going to take their time. But you're right in saying they've been quite grounded. Of course, as we say it, they're now doing beautiful passing plays in the air. But German Amigos, it wasn't the fastest counter-attack. They had plenty of time to get numbers back, and they're going to somehow get that one block too, with a bit of help and marked by 8. And we're 10 seconds away from the end of game 1, but the breakout chances there, and just a double commit from Team BDS means that they're not going to get the shot away on the net, and we could be about to see German Amigos take this game 1 as the call is cleared downfield. But Ivan is there, he touches it down, but the bounce, it stays up. Monkey Moon is going to get the infield, the shot, oh, I thought it was uncontested, but no, Catalysm is there, and game 1 will be German Amigos.
Well, I see a lot of German Amigo logos in chat, and they are very well founded. It might only be 1-0, but a win nonetheless, and hard for Catalysm. It's got to be said, what a pop-off game for him. Sure, Ivan is going to be the one credited with the goal, but Catalysm was just the chief defender. He was a goalkeeper through and through, the playmaker. He was everywhere on that pitch. He made it his home base, and no one could take the ball away from him, it felt like.
And how clinical they had to be, though. Just 3 shots on the board for German Amigos, but it didn't matter one bit. They will get that 1-0 lead. And contrary to the predictions of Twitch chat as well, Bacon, it was 69% in favor of Team BDS. Now, that is a nice prediction, but right now, it's not exactly correct as we head on to Forbidden Temple for game 2. And that's the question. Will we see the typical Team BDS with a higher win rate when they lose game 1? Or is this a change of fate? Is Spring Split their sort of time where they hibernate just a little bit? Are German Amigos just 2 on form right now? Well, I think time will have to tell, as there's a long way to go in this best of 5, and a flip reset from Monkey Moon forcing out back-to-back triple commits, and the less we say about the German Amigos defense this time, the better.
Notice whenever BDS get dug into a trench, you know, when they're in a little bit of a hole, feeling uncomfortable, it's always extra. He's the one that gets them on out. You're on the squad. Sort of feels more like a captain whenever you see him in interviews, always at that BDS complex, at their training center. I reckon he lives there right now. He's got a bed set next to the PC, and that's all he does. Eat, sleep, play, repeat. And it definitely works. Monkey Moon, what a great 50. 50 up in the air, but Catalysm once again having the game of his life, and it is an important one. Rizex, not comfortable. Catalysm, that's straight on down by Mopper. Hey, Monkey Moon, not comfortable, backs off of it, and Extra is just going to hold down that midfield line.
I mean, you talk about their training facility, that they're all there. Can you call it a training facility? It seems like the sort of Area 51 in Europe is where all the aliens are, because that's pretty much what BDS have been in RLCSX, and they're certainly proving their usual habit so far here with that early goal in this second game, and they're looking to build on that F1 offense more here as well. As Catalysm, talk about his defense, he's going to have a loose touch there. Not really a big deal though. Rizex able to pick things up, and now they're going to be breaking downfield. The midfield 50s coming through, but so far this game, no real clear-cut chances for the German Amigos.
Ivan throwing it to net there. I mean, didn't have any other option really other than putting it into the corner and just hoping for a push-up. But that's just where it fell at the final mark. Because German Amigos have been pretty solid in their defense, and if anything, been looking to hold their half of the pitch, forcing BDS into their own. Oh.
It's another donation goal.
Yeah, this is just painful for German Amigos, because you do not expect him. Monkey Moon, just with a little butt touch, is going to be able to keep that right in front of net, and Extra once again is just there to pick up the pieces.
I mean, the question is whether we allow that goal. Is a butt touch a regulation move, or would we have to revoke the goal? I'm sure German Amigos wouldn't mind one bit.
All's fair in love and war.
It is. I mean, that's true. Apparently so, it seems. But right now, it's 2-0 BDS, and that would say otherwise. It's 2 close range, almost tap-in goals, and it's unfortunate, but kind of the reality that it was always going to be hard for German Amigos to keep up the level of defense that they showed, I should say, in game 1, but they can certainly strike back in game 2. They do have over half the game to go, and with shots like this, unfortunately, it's not on target. The follow-up will be, and Rizex will claw one back.
Yeah, Rizek's finally really showing on up again though, off the back of Catalysm. Great little pass on over Monkey Moon, just a whisper away. And that could just be the opening of the door for game 2. Of course, BDS going to want to extend that lead once again, but Ivan on the ball over to Catalysm. Good block on out. Rizek's fading away from it. You can see he's not getting anyone the challenge, but doesn't take control of the ball. 50-50 going up high after the demo. The ball just being thrown straight to net by Mark Bay 8. It's got to be said, Mark Bay so far has just played quite a simplistic game. Not a bad game at all, but very predictable, and that's somewhat of an issue for BDS.
Or maybe it can be the sort of thing that German Amigos can take advantage of, as they've only gotten half the way there. Bon Jovi will be proud of them, but they want to go all the way of the 2-goal comeback. And Ivan is just going to have to buy time right now. He scoops the ball up the wall and out nicely. He actually fakes out, buys his time. They're a great play, and it would have been great if he actually lived. But unfortunately, yep, he's just dead. And now the offense is hopeful. The bounce charged down by Catalysm. They are being aggressive as they have to at this point. They're having to sort of just throw the kitchen sink before it gets too late. But still 90 seconds to go. And Mark Bay 8's had his ankles broken by Rizek there in a 50. He's a Chad. He's built different, but he couldn't get past Extra, who's now suddenly turned the tables. And Ivan can't get back in time. And it's another painful goal for the German Amigos to concede.
I don't know what Extra does at gym, but he definitely does not miss leg day, because he is carrying right now. Taking a look at the score, 638 to Extra, 210 to Monkey, 122 to Mark Bay 8. So, by all counts, every goal requires the whole team, and especially all Extra's goals have received assists from the other two. But I'm just saying right now, Extra is involved in everything, is the one keeping the team afloat. And I do wonder when German Amigos are going to start bringing in, demo plays aimed at Extra to remove him, because he is such a troublemaker for this squad.
Yeah, he is, and he's made another great save on the goal line to deny Ivan's air dribble. You have to think that was the sort of goal that German Amigos might have had to score if they were going to be able to contest this game 2 anymore. But the late comeback is still possible, and their defense is holding for now, but Monkey Moon disrupting will pay with his life, but he's bought a lot of time for the clock as well to tick down slowly. It's 30 now as Catalysm is hopefully trying to scramble it off the defense, but the claw, the grip from BDS is closing in, and German Amigos have got to try and find a way to break out, and this could be an answer, but Catalysm's shot is unfortunately off the mark. Extra, again, just a nice high flying play every single time. The seconds burning down, and you have to think this game 2 is just about out of reach.
Do indeed, but of course the series definitely not. German Amigos taking game 1 leaves so much open, and you can see the fighting spirit in German Amigos is still there. They're just going to have to go away, adjust their game plan, and come back even stronger. Rizek's Ivan Catalysm definitely ready to do damage, but BDS, I mean, they are the titans of Europe. They don't like to describe it themselves. They're quite modest and humble lads, but you don't get clear into first way ahead of time unless you are frightening. And BDS, I've got to say right now, Tyler, I don't know hate on them, no hate towards German Amigos, but BDS are just not feeling informed right now. Something's wrong. Monkey Moon isn't popping, and as I alluded to earlier, Mark Bay is just too simple in his plays, and it's weird.
Nah, to be fair though, Bacon, there is something I heard about this. Mark Bay 8's schedule is definitely the gamer's schedule. I would honestly say he's probably woken up 1 to 2 hours ago. He's probably still brushing his teeth while he's playing here. And like we say, no disrespect to German Amigos, but the bar that Team BDS set for themselves is so high that it's so easy to criticize them. I don't like doing it, but it is also fun here. And if they don't take this series, we'll certainly be pointing questions towards their direction, as it is effectively a best of 3 from this point, and we know anything can happen in that regard, but German Amigos are going to have to start stronger than last game. And oh, that's a big save from Ivan to make sure they don't concede an early goal, and I think that is a huge bit of defensive work. We saw how they lost game 2 was really that opening minute and a half where they conceded them 2 I would say, sloppy goals that were really the sort of sucker punch, the dampener for their momentum, and it was always going to be hard for them to fight their way back. But with a stronger start in Game 3, I think that's the sort of note they need to be starting on.
And the point that we're trying to ultimately make is not that BDS don't have to be in form and win. It's more they're vulnerable right now. This is an opportunity German Amigos need to take. They can win this series, and that would be massive for them. You got to think as well, one big point, they don't have an org. This prize money is massive to these lads to have backing to go forward, to pursue their career within esports.
Yeah, that adds more pressure to them. I don't even know what we've just watched. Like, the sign's gone too far. What? We need to watch that again. There's no way we can figure out what just happened. I was going to point out that you're spot on with the lack of an org. You could say this almost puts more pressure on the German Amigos to perform, to sustain themselves, but it doesn't seem to be showing too much with the performances they were putting in the grid. You could say they didn't have the best in terms of regionals, didn't qualify for regional 1 or 3 of the spring split, but at the end of the day, they're a new team. You could say, you know, they've got on a bit of a honeymoon. You could also say they haven't even peaked yet. Who knows? And only the future will tell. And a performance in a major like this is a huge indicator for us here. And maybe they can get a breakthrough as Ivan, behind enemy lines there, sniped it towards the top corner, but the crossbar gonna deny for now.
Ivan's got a full tank of boost. What can he do with this? Unfortunately, nothing. Marked by 8. Might have just got out of bed, but he's already had his coffee. Extra not got any boost left, so he loses that one. And I've got to say right now, look at Monkey Moon getting a lot more ambitious with his attempts. He's starting to feel himself into the series, and that is scary if you're facing up against BDS. Extra wanting to send that one up, and this could be a runaway. Rizek's just got to send it. Monkey can't get there in time, and German Amigos back on top.
Yeah, the bait in, the lovely touch from Rizex, and then you knew the chance was there. The Chariots of Fire started playing in the background. Can Rizex get to it in time? Yes, he can, but they've got a long way to go just yet as we approach half-time. First blood is out of the German Amigos for now. They'll have to see whether they can even build on it, or will BDS start to get frustrated? Will they awaken the Monkey Moon Beast? And I think that's the answer to that question.
Okay, he has finally turned up. He has been awoken, and it took German Amigos really putting the pain in for Monkey Moon to stop being his acclaimed Mickey Moon face.
Indeed,
he's back, boys.
He's back. The return of the king. And that's quite the statement equalizer that could have massive repercussions and effects during this series, as once again German Amigos are going to have to strike back. But will that be BDS? This is a beautiful pass from Monkey Moon. The shot going to force out the double commit as the offense keeps on. Extras 50 though is going to spill to Ivan. He's got time to clear it, but you can see the panic starting to set in. It was a great clear, but he certainly slapped it away very abruptly. But with all 3 players back on BDS, they're going to deal with it, although not exactly conventionally. It was a little bit of crossy road and traffic jam there, but Extra going to buy all the time, forcing the pinch off the corner there. Quite a play, but not going to give them possession. The 51 out by Rizex. Mark required to cut across. Ivan here trying to build this offense, and we're really heading into silver gold territory right here. Bacon, the time, it's all getting a little bit tense.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at this right now. German Amigos aren't offering each other options. They're not getting into position quick enough to be able to receive a pass. The build-up's great from them. Look at Rizex in the air here, but you can see no one's quick enough there to be able to challenge the second touch afterwards, and that's a major issue. BDS so blindingly fast that German Amigos have to be on their A game to be able to predict and get up there quick enough. Extra just forcing issues in this corner, and Monkey Moon to come through. What a great block. But Markbait just not there to read it. But look at the pressure being applied. BDS have near enough got German Amigos locked out. And then the cool-offs like that from Monkey Moon to just step on up allows Markbait to fall back, get boost. And they're just starting to take control of the game.
Yeah, it makes sense when you think about the goal that German Amigos got really was a runaway. They haven't really been able to carve anything for themselves, but you certainly can't knock their effort. They are trying as hard as they can, and the defense has held on. A couple potentially fatal infields have been threatened by BDS, but none have found the crucial mark just yet, and we could be potentially headed for an overtime, but there may be late drama as Mark is up towards the backboard. Rizex will get the block. The roll is here. Monkey looks for the infield again, but we will have the aforementioned overtime, and there's been 2 overtimes previously between these 2 teams in the grid, and just like the series, BDS took both of them.
It's scary, but of course, in that position that German Amigos were in, you want the overtime. You didn't want that to keep playing out because it was just all pressure put on their defense. The OT resets things. You can see now being down. Ivan's given so much time. Cataclysm could be on that, but he's got nothing there. Monkey Moon steps on in, and he's just ruined that dance. Extra in front of net. Cataclysm's too slow. What even is that? I'm going to quickly go on the replay and check Cataclysm. He's got 23 boost. Yeah, it just didn't show in the play, but
That's pain.
That's a boost over ball. He could have cut in. He didn't need to go for the 100.
I mean, I think maybe he was almost overplaying his hand there, maybe trying to fake out the defense as BDS will collect the counter-attack open net. And if you're a German Amigos fan, which I know we've got plenty of here, I glanced at chat and it was 99% sombrero. That you can take your pick. You can have French bread or you can have Spain without the S, but either way, it's just going to be soothing for the pain of that game 3 down series point. And with German Amigos, and I don't know if you looked at the subreddit predictions, Bacon, but in terms of Group A, German Amigos were the most predicted pick to be bottom of the group. Now, I don't agree with that, but if they, at the end of the day, game difference is going to be a huge deal here, and even forcing a game 5 could be a huge deal. But what a way to statement open the group and really avoid the bottom if they could get this win over BDS. But alas, they're going to have to get 2 in a row, and the way that game 3 went, you have to say it's going to be an uphill fight.
Yeah, I mean, German Amigos being one of the newer sides, you would expect them to get, should we say, downvoted the most, to be the least predicted. That's just the way it is. More established teams, of course, are going to be more likely. Good demo play from Mark Bay to get that one out there, but they've got just as much right to be here, to come out top of the group as any other team. The depth in EU, as we always say, is incredible, and it has been proven it. Ivan just coming on through.
No way. No way.
Ooh.
Rizex, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He forgot his stationary. He was missing the protractor and the compass. It was nearly a flip reset double touch, but the crossbar and the goal line. Oh, that is cruel.
That's it. It brought the calculator, but unfortunately,
A non-calculator test.
yeah, that's the difficult part to it. Good clearance coming through from Monkey Moon, but it's straight on down to center. So Catalysm connecting with Ivan. Extra's read that so well. Monkey Moon looking for Extra once again. And he's looking to just walk it with a 50-50. So confident in his abilities. Not going to find it this time round, but BDS just so strong. Even on the back foot, they somehow come out on top, and that's scary. On the opposite end, it's got to be said, German Amigos looking stoic, but they've got to get the results. This has to be a win. Naturally, to send us to game 5.
It really does, but the problem is it's a runaway here, and Monkey Moon is in with a chance, but Ivan will make the crucial save. And you talk about the difference in pressure. It feels like German Amigos really having to produce something special just to get a goal, to get them a goal to the good. And Rizex nearly supplied it, but it was oh so close. And when you look at BDS pressing like this, on the contrary, right, it feels like it's just one mistake from the, house of cards sort of falling down for German Amigos, and they've got the scaffolding coming through. It's holding itself together for now, but you do worry that it might be a matter of time.
This is just a showing of team chemistry for BDS, where they've played together for so long now. They know each other inside and out, and they can just back each other up so well. You see that double commit coming through from Ivan and Rizex, and I don't want to blame it too much. They were trying to cover as much of the net as possible, but you never see BDS do that. They're so confident in the one-man defense, and that's where you get a lot of power from. So is just that established team energy.
There it
marked
is.
by a well-found.
Yeah, it's a costly double commit that Extra's forced out here by taking his time with that beautiful first touch. And while the defense held temporarily for German Amigos, they could not construct any more additional pylons to keep that touch out. And it will be a goal to the good for BDS, and it's going to need to be a comeback for the Amigos, and that's not something they've done so far during this series. But now would certainly be a perfect time to start.
Definitely would. So Twitch chat, I see, or we saw a lot of German Amigos fans. I don't want to see anything but German sombreros right now. Get that emote spamming. Get your chants out. I know some Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb energy is needed to be delivered to the lads. They're on the back foot, but you could make that difference right here and now. We want to see Game 5 nonetheless. And that's going to be slow, painful, and Catalysm once again saving the day, keeping German Amigos. No, Ivan, no! Not like this!
I can't believe what I've just watched. Monkey Moon, his best goal of his career. He'll be so proud of that one. Let's just not talk about. Let's just not talk about it here. How you doing, Bacon? I mean, it's not been a bad day. 2-0 to the good. I mean, I don't know if there's any coming back from that. I'm sorry.
1 minute 30, doable, but it's going to take all their energy here, Tylacto. The lads have been the upsetters in the past, but right now I feel like I'm the one that's feeling upset as Catalysm on the ball, passing it on in towards the center, and again, German Amigos, you've got to have a lad in the box to finish that off. Otherwise, Catalysm's just passing it to his opponent.
Yeah.
They're not backing each other up. They seem to have the boost. You can see the figures, but they're just not fast to rotate on in.
So difficult, and the confidence is hard to get if you don't have that boost. But right now, it does not matter if the Amigos lose 3-0. They need that kitchen sink flung at the BDS defense. They might have a chance here, but Ivan, typically, he didn't have any boost. And the double demo coordinated from BDS. Is it going to be walked in? No, it's a save from Catalysm. No, not another own goal, please.
Okay.
I can't take it. Okay, thank you, Rizzex. A lovely piece of defensive work from him there, as it would have been an incredible goal from BDS, even for their standards, with the coordinated demos into the open net. But it will not be the case. But what is the case is the fact that we still need 2 goals from the German Amigos to even force an overtime, and they are very much running out of time here in the EU Major. The first series, they'll have been wanting to start off on the right note and on a strong footing, but it doesn't seem like it will be the case. As while BDS may not have hit the ground running, they certainly got their pace up over time, and it's felt almost inevitable as the series went on. They will take it in a 3-1 scoreline. A good showing from both teams, but that will be the outcome.
And it's crazy. Again, just
The shots.
German Amigos gave BDS life. BDS, I don't know how a team can come into a tournament and not feel like they're awake. You know, they're still half asleep. And German Amigos, so massive credit to them. They pushed them. It's just BDS's flexibility, their versatility. And that's the key thing about this team. It's that they seem to be able to adjust to any playstyle that is thrown at them. And they forced German Amigos to play defensively, when German Amigos there just didn't have the opportunity to send a man as second. And that was the crucial error. They were always going for passing plays. They needed to go for solos. We realistically only ever saw Ivan being able to get close on those solo plays. Catalysm and Rizzex just couldn't deal with it. But it's got to be said, this was not a bad performance for German Amigos at all. They were 9 out of 10 of the way there. They just had that one doctor not convinced, and I might be that doctor by not having the second man in the box, but that just shows they're so close to perfection, and they're going up against the best team in Europe, arguably the world, so that's a very high benchmark.
Yeah, it really is. I want to say they were so close, but I also don't want to blind myself with that game for Bacon. That was 15 shots to 2 in favor of PDS, that fourth game. It does feel like when it is such an underdog story, the likes of this, you really do need to sort of cause a knockout blow, because it feels like when the sort of favorite team on paper, the better team sort of gets that snowball of momentum rolling, it gets so damn hard to stop, and it's so difficult not to get in your own head. But there certainly is a positive for German Amigos, and it's the
Welcome back to RLCS X EU Spring Major. I'm Jared Jim here with RLEAgue on the Rocket RB, as we have just finished our very first match of the day. Team BDS versus German Amigos. Team BDS, as always, seemingly RLEAgue, gave us a little bit of a hope, you might even say, a little bit of a pinch hunt for surprise, maybe, by losing the first game. But then, of course, in a very convincing fashion, German Amigos were squeezed dry in the remaining 3 games for a 3-1 result. And it does seem that Team BDS is still going to be the one that's going to march towards their 3rd title in a row in the majors.
Well, there's still a long way to go before that, of course, but I think much credit has to be given to German Amigos. I know Tylacto was giving them their marching orders earlier on, but I think that the German Amigos, there's a lot to be commended, honestly, not just, of course, in their grid performance, but overall in their general team play. I think Rizex had an absolutely brilliant series. I think that Ivan continues to show that despite being one of the newer folks into the top level, he's really acclimatizing well, and myself, I was predicting 3-2 to BDS. Such is my interest and such is my expectation now for German Amigos. Maybe a little bit too late for them in RLCS Season X, but next season, who knows?
Well, it's Team BDS also rose to the highest of the highs throughout situation like this as well. We no longer have the rival series, but at the very least we do have the very open format of the tournament, and hopefully for the next season of RLCS we're going to see German Amigos continue on progressing. Before we talk about Blokes versus White Demons, let's take a quick look at how the groups are standing right now. Of course, the four matches have already happened, and here are some of the results as well. Team Queso have defeated BS Plus Competition 3-0, as well as Team BDS have beaten German Amigos. So Queso and BDS sitting on the top of their groups, while German Amigos and BS Plus Competition staying on the bottom. Guild Esports swept Blokes, and Solary, in a very long series of 5 games, have finally beaten White Demons. And we were both watching that series also from backstages, waiting for the White Demons to at least finish their game, and they seemed pretty strong. Or would you say it was Solary who was looking weak?
Oh, that's a tough one to say. I think White Demons are a really difficult team to play against, especially for teams that want to go expansive. And we're going to deep dive into that a little bit more when we talk about Blokes, a real bogey team in particular for a team like this. They like to play defensive, they like to huddle up, and I think that Solary all too often can be caught out a little with the press, with a bit of over-rotation sometimes. White Demons have a great game plan, and they execute it time and time again. I think Tigre's been a great pickup for them. Lots of good experience, RLCS level experience in those axles of his. And so I think that, honestly, they're going to give any team in this group a good game. And it's more on the teams to show some flair, some individuality in front of goal, which you would think would suit Blokes with someone like Archie in the team. But their record, Jam, doesn't suggest so.
Yes, as it stands in the 2 series so far that Blokes have played versus White Demons have taken both of these series. First Spring Regional, second Spring Regional. White Demons seem to have the number of the Blokes, CRR, Dorito, and Tigre. Something about their playstyle, and we have talked about this during the pre-show as well. There are a lot of surprising faces appearing in this major, and that's because it's seemingly the change of the old guard. The old names, or the teams that have not prepared or managed to adjust well enough, are being beaten by these newfangled. Well, I say newfangled. Tigre is a long-standing member of the Rocket League scene, and Dorito and CRR, we have not seen them a lot. This is only their first season of RLCS. As it stands, they've already carved themselves a name on the scene as well with their performances during the sprint split.
Yeah, the important thing is that they're putting their name into the hat. And I think that just by qualifying for a regional, let alone a major, that is already a huge statement of what you can achieve. And we certainly have seen with a couple of teams, and we were talking about this backstage, we were saying, some teams do feel like they have to take their foot off the pedal. It's been a long season, especially with no lands as well to break up the play necessarily. It does leave some people in the unenviable position of playing a lot of matches consecutively over a bunch of weeks. And some teams have reacted better, some teams have reacted worse. And I think the Blokes is one of those teams that's really struggled. Once they're knocked off their horse, it takes them a little while to get back into the saddle, and it hasn't helped, especially with the spring split, especially looking at the grid results. Archie had a wrist injury. It wasn't great. Rams had to sub in. It was a lot of fun. We've commentated on those games, but obviously it's left the Blokes a little bit disjointed. They weren't at full strength. They lost a lot of consecutive series. And even today, Archie comes in off the back of dislocating his leg. So, you know, it seems like he's one of the most injury-prone players in the league. Thankfully, I mean, the guy dislocated his leg, but thankfully it's more of a leg injury as opposed to, you know, the actual limbs that you're playing Rocket League with. Even still, 3-0 versus Guild, and not in the right direction for Top Blokes. A 3-0 sweep versus Guild. I know they're on a high after winning Regional 3, but man, you would expect Top Blokes to at least get 1 or 2 games out of that series, and I just fear for them, Jam. I just fear for them. They're a team that, it almost feels like 52 card pickup with them. You don't know what card you're going to get, whether it's a great card for your hand, or whether it's going to be a joker in the pack.
As always, the eyes are on Archie, the undeniable top player of the Top Blokes, and also one of the top players in the league. He himself seemingly is carrying the squad as a whole, with Flame and Casio trying to help in many ways as they can. So, but Archie still needs to be on the given day for Top Blokes to get that result. If White Demons can find any possibilities to shut down Archie, to maybe cut off the passing plays that Casio is making, or maybe not allow the team to get out of the defense or strike when Casio and Archie are up ahead and trying to create a goal, with Flame once again playing his usual defensive position, White Demons might find themselves their 3rd win in a row in this matchup versus Top Blokes. Well, folks, Team BDS and Team Vitality will be on the main stream. Guild versus Aether are going to be showcased on UGC stream. I will have to wait for the results between BS Plus competition and German Amigos. But what we have here is Top Blokes versus White Demons. 2nd game of the day over here at the Rocket RB. Best of 5 as usual. This time, our league, we cannot possibly be biased, but deep down in ourselves, we were waving our Top Blokes flags.
I want Top Blokes to do well. They're a top 4 team if you look at the point standings going into today. But I actually have White Demons for this one. I've just got a sinking feeling for the Top Blokes. You're absolutely right. They do rely on Archie a lot because he's the most consistent. Top 3 goals per game in the league. Top 5 assists per game in the league. But most worryingly for me, Jam, is he's the 2nd highest player for saves in the league. They give up a lot of chances on net, and it's going to have to be an overwhelming tidal wave for me if Top Blokes are to undo the voodoo and take the game to White Demons. In the blue will be Top Blokes, in the orange will be the White Demons. I mentioned the 52 card pickup form. Well, are Top Blokes going to be the king of our hearts, or are they going to be 3 spades digging a grave for themselves? It's been a couple of early chances either side, but now the White Demons looking to establish some dominance in the final third for them. Flame under this ball, no boost, and a necessary tackle from Casio, his CRR at the midfield, picking up that 100 lovely dribble infield to Tigray, who gets it past the final defender, and it's 1-0 Demons.
It feels like with that one touch, really just even leaving the ball, he beat all 3 players of Top Blokes. Archie not covering the wall. Obviously, there's 2 players before him trying to make any sort of a touch on it, and yet CR playingly, jokingly, outplays absolutely everyone on the side of the Top Blokes. And some of the inventive plays by White Demons already have been shown even before that. Tigra trying to go for an aerial bump for last defender of Top Blokes as well. It's nice to see Top Blokes starting the game strong, but after Top Blokes have conceded a goal, it's already starting to look just a little bit weird. Perhaps here, a little bit of reset. Positioning is right. Let's see what Top Blokes can do in this one.
Nice win, and Casio. Sometimes the luck of the draw is going to fall your way, Jam. Certainly the case for Casio. 1-1.
Brilliantly played. Well, a little bit of luck involved in this one as well, but Casio following it up on his touch. Most importantly, you don't want to just make the first touch and then hope for the best. You need to continue on power. And with a little bit of bounces going the way of the Top Blokes, the game is tight, and still the kickoffs. I absolutely love to see Top Blokes back on their kickoff horse. Really just a part of the game, but a very important part of the game. I had doubts just for a second, Arlik, right there. It was looking strange.
As did I. It seemed like the net was open up for Dorito, and he just didn't want to shoot. He didn't want to pull the trigger. Maybe a bit of mercy rule here from the White Demons, but you're not going to want to show any mercy if you want to progress through the group. Of course, only 1 relegation spot, but could be any of these 5 teams if the run of form goes against you, rather. I should say. And this also worth mentioning, only the 4th goal the Top Blokes have scored today. Of course, a 3-0 sweep against Guild doesn't look great, at least on the outside of the box. But if you look inside the box, the contents aren't great either. Those 3 goals all scored in Game 2 of that series. And that was an overtime loss. CRR now looking to get away. And that's helped downfield, but it's straight back into blue possession. Archie wins that challenge towards net. Tigray makes the save. Flame looking for the drop down, but it's into no man's land really, and CRR doesn't exactly win that. Archie expending a lot of boost, however. The challenge, again, doesn't really go either way. And finally, the clearance out from Tigray.
Like what I'm seeing from Flame so far, though, he is feeling confident today. And the player who's usually found in a more defensive positioning, and so you don't expect that many goals, assists from him. Oh, at least assists. But as it stands, he has been going for some crazy moves. I've seen him pre-jump a couple of times in the quite wild positions. But if he can surprise White Demons just once out of a couple of these tries, I think it will be enough in that case. And so far, Top Blokes, after conceding that first goal, seemingly have put the reins of the game in their control. And we're seeing 6 shots versus 2, a normal positional battle won by the Top Blokes side.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a revelation in this split with Flame as well. Moved on over to the Fennec. He wants to be a bit more aggressive. He doesn't want to be closed off in his own half. He wants to move forward. He wants to shoot a lot of goals on net, on target. And that has been really the crux of the issue, is when he has moved up, when he has had a shot, it's been registered as a shot on target, but more often than not, it's hit the woodwork. A little bit more to the left, a little bit more to the right, a little bit underneath the crossbar, and we might see a lot more goal output from this player, from the captain of the Top Blokes, as Archie in field, the youngest player, of course, on the field. Tigray picking this one up at the side. Dorito lurking, lying in wait, a miss from Flame. Dorito off the backboard, no second touch, and Archie gets this one away, really to no one of note, but at least it's away from the goal mouth of his own team. Casio now infield off the top of the box. There's Flame lurking. It's on target, but Tigray in the way makes the save. Dorito downfield, not too far though. There's Archie bumped out of the way by Dorito again. It's loose once more. Flame goes up high, catches that. Here's Casio now. Archie maybe with the back pass. Lovely back pass it was as well to Casio, but himself bumped out the way. Not going to get that boost recontrolled. And Archie, once again, it's into the midfield. And with 40 seconds left on the clock jam, this has the hallmarks of overtime. Dorito there closing off. Another great pinch opportunity.
The problem now is that was a double commit. Flame was trying to take it off Archie, and instead, 2 of them went versus 1 player of White Demons. And just for a moment, there was a breakaway opportunity only versus Casio in the net, but that was also stopped. Top Blokes are trying to make sure that White Demons do not cross that midfield, do not get themselves another chance. All the while, you can see that the pressure is growing and growing. The final 10 seconds most likely going to be in the orange side of the field. But while the shots on the backboard are good, the clears from the White Demons are good as well. And everything is signaling that we're going into the first overtime of the series. There we have it, 1-1. Whoever gets this goal gets the first game of the series.
First overtime of the series, but only the second ever overtime played between these 2 teams in a competitive setting. And good news if you're a Top Blokes fan, they won it. Casio. Midfield is Archie going up for it. Both players going for the ball, actually deciding to bounce out. Here's Casio infield again, but Tigray up first. Looking for CRR, finds CRR, but Flame back in time. Bounces off to the side, looking for a dunk maybe on Flame. Gets the dunk, but not enough angle. Casio deals with it. Away past Tigray, towards the net. Dorito up. Gets that touch. Nice shepherding down to the corner here from Dorito. Archie in field. There's CRR lurking again. Flame looking to keep the pressure on. As you say, they don't want to over-rotate though, Top Blokes. They know this is the strategy that undoes them, with the White Demons in particular. Turtle, 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 and then break out of the shell. Flame, that's a precarious touch, and Casio bails him out all the way down the other pitch to CRR. And it's a ping-pong match at the moment as they're trying to find some clearance.
Top Blokes with a couple of weird touches along the way, really spoiling their own possession. They do not get anything created. Thankfully for the Top Blokes, White Demons cannot steal anything off the top of that as well.
Good demo.
More attacks are coming in. Archie's going to respond back, though, so he can start another attack. But these moves, Casio had just enough upward velocity to get anything done on that side. But here, an open net, and Top Blokes are forced to retreat as White Demons found themselves in open.
faking from a couple of these players on the White Demons, and it is certainly keeping a couple of the Blokes players on ice. But that's an open net. Oh, closed down by CRR. Nice pace on the retreat. Dorito now registers another save. Finds CRR once again. He's made his way downfield, looking for that pop, but he's not going to get past Archie. Goes on a run of his own now. Going to miss out on that 100. What can he do in 19 boost? The answer is not that much. Into the retreat. Top Blokes again. Casio taken out in midair. CRR. And Archie in a real precarious position again, just waiting on the backboard. It launches itself down, but no White Doritos. There's no White Demons players waiting for it. They're going to be wanting Dorito. There he is on the far side, and he misses it. Oh, would have been a long shot, would have been a bit of a Hail Mary, but not on this occasion. Archie again out into the midfield, and it is stuck in the midfield. The ball right now is sort of wavers towards the net. They're looking for demos, but no way through once again.
This could be the difference maker if a demo comes in at the right spot. If White Demons are willing to push just a little bit more, could clear, found straight to CRR. This could break any of the defenses, but I feel like White Demons might be closer to that right now. Where the top Blokes, plays usually differ, great pinch, but CR, seeing the play as it unfolds, gets bumped for the effort. Still denied from the top Blokes.
Bit too much there. CR would have gotten the touch anyway. Nice attempt from top Blokes. Casio again looking for Archie. Great connection. CR throwing his Octane in the way of that one. Archie infield again. Flame up first. And again, the pass has no real direction, no real pace. And they're trying to get creative, top Blokes, but right now, White Demons holding firm. The Bastions stand tall. A bit of a readjustment there from Casio. Gives up possession. Archie finds that touch on Casio. It's straight into no man's land once again, though. Flame, another good find. Archie helps it into the orange half, but it's all fair and well getting into that orange half jam. But then what's the next step? It feels like top Blokes are... Exactly, yeah. Top Blokes are playing what's in front of them. They're not thinking about the next step.
Part of that is, of course, the need to make a clear as soon as possible. Top Blokes know that the moment they wait for just a second, Casio, maybe he can set up Archie on the ground. Flame coming in for the second one. CR makes the save. Top Blokes still on top. Archie stumbles over himself, I think so. But we are entering the 4th minute of the overtime. Arlekin still. Neither of the teams are getting the second goal for themselves in the game winner. This could be an open net. Right corner.
No!
Saved and a miss on a follow-up. The ties of this game are changing immediately. And can Casio at the very least get this? He cannot. Archie in the center. There you have it. Wow. But just for 30 seconds, this swing has been going ballistic. And you couldn't possibly guess who is going to get the game in the end.
I want that replay. I want that replay, good sir. Of course, Ben, Sal, on production. Great to have you, my friend. That was an open net miss at the end there, wasn't it, from White Demons? And they're going to be regretting that. Top Blokes 1-0 up in the series.
That's what Top Blokes really were hoping. Well, hoping for is a bad term for the Top Blokes in this case. As it stands, Top Blokes do not need to hope. With their position in the standings, their perceived standings in the league and the European scene as a whole, they should be winning these games much more confidently. And I'm very least hoping that this victory is going to put them on the right track. Again, the very first win of the day, a hard-fought battle for and a little bit more extra minutes for the overtime. Sweat it, but made sure that it works in the end. Casio in the making sure that the team just survives by the looks of it. While the Wild Demons, they still have, it feels to me, a lot of tricks up their sleeve. Again, their dangerous positioning, their ability to just be like a jack out of the box in a spot on the field where Top Blokes might not expect them, might come back to haunt Top Blokes in the future games.
There's still a lot of work to be done, that's for sure, and even though this is a win in the series for Top Blokes, it's worth mentioning that they have won games in both of their series against the White Demons. Of course, a reminder, both of them which they've lost, so they might very well be on the walk out of the park, but they're not necessarily out of the gates just yet. Archie with a nice pop-up. Here's Flame looking for the pop in field, and TR goes under it. Lucky for him, Casio wasn't shadowing the ball. Casio down, would have been a good pass, but again, his teammates back, ready to get some boost at least. But that's a perfect handoff to CRR. Almost calamity in the Top Blokes defense, almost handing them an assist. Dorito's not going to punish either. He misses the net again.
Archie was ready to make that save as well, but just like in the very first game, it's just things that really have not done anything but are threatening for the defense of the Blokes, and that is just a moment ago an attempt at a demo. Great save by Flynn. He needed to be there as Archie was beat on that flick from White Demons. Now immediate counterattack. I'm loving the speed that the Blokes are showing with the movement of the ball and how well they can make sure that really either hitting White Demons on the counter or just making sure that the ball does not linger in their half for too long. First minute, as nervy as ever.
Nice pass. Oh, a bit more accuracy. CRR deals with it. Looking for that launch down the other side of the pitch, but I agree. The pace is good, Jam. But they don't want to over-rotate. Is that a lovely looking play? Tigray just needing that extra touch. And we could have been talking about 1-0 Demons. That's down the other side. It ricochets off the post. So unfortunate, Top Blokes. I'd say there's been 2-3 clear-cut opportunities from both teams now.
Wow, just wow in so many ways. That last shot with a pinch and everything could have bamboozled the White Demons, and look at the touch that Casio gets to Archie. And the pinches as well. My goodness, Blokes I think especially have been getting the ball just at the right spot to make White Demons guess. And those infield passes, Blokes seemingly are using this as their main weapon so far versus White Demons. And for the most part, it is working. Careful.
Okay.
All right, well, that somehow got in that direction and went that way, but a clear is a clear, and a shot is a shot, and a break hit is a break hit.
Very nice.
And Flame still gets that goal in the end. Well, see, when you start going somewhere and you just don't know what to do, you just watch as everything just unfolds, as you cannot affect this in any way. And it feels like that what Tigray has been feeling in that situation.
Stop the play, use that caboose, and get your team 1-0 up in game number 2. Very, very classy performance so far from the Top Blokes, and especially from Flame. Remember that great save about 30 to 60 seconds prior as well. Leading his team with aplomb. Casio, it's 2v1. It's over the top of CR. Oh no, gets his nose onto it. Archie, what about the drop down? Archie, oh, it's so close, and Dorito bails out. White Demons, you do not want to go 2-0 down against a team that is thriving right now. Dorito to come around, pick it up, around into the middle. Here's Archie again. He finds, no, not the far post. Flame keeps it alive in the box, maybe. Into the box once again it goes, and Dorito finally with a decent clearance, but Archie, great defensive rotation here. Picks it up, goes towards net, but Tigray back in time after picking up boost himself.
A lot of good moves from the Blokes. No sudden clears, no attempts to just clear the ball and just get rid of it. As it stands, Blokes are slowing the play down, not sending it towards the backboard, but sending it towards somebody who can really take it. And that pressure is really working against White Demons. You could see that the past 2 minutes have been spent in the orange side of the field with White Demons surviving. And I think that's the key word, surviving what they can find on the field and when their defensive moves as well.
Don't a lot of ball retention here for the Top Blokes. Finally some for the team in orange. Dorito, that's straight to Flame. That's going to be an easy clearance. 90 seconds left now for the Demons to try and find a way back into this game. Of course, Top Blokes still looking likely, although CR's maybe no. It goes wide again. And Archie puts himself in the way of that one. Dorito towards net. Anyone lurking? Yes, it's CR. It's off the crossbar. Is it Tigray? Finally, 3, 4, 5 bites of the cherry. They're going to need another one at this rate, Jam. It's 1-1.
Another series of just slow shots as it stands. Tigray is throwing a curveball for the defense of the Blokes and puts it straight behind Archie. He had to sprawl and get himself somewhere in the middle of the field. No, well, it still could be a 1-goal game, I suppose. But as it stands, no 1-0 win for the Blokes as the final minute is approaching. Testing that backboard.
Wow.
And Casio, silent so far in this game, finds his first goal of game 2 on the second shot after all 3 Blokes players commit. Tigray didn't have a chance to send it down the field, but really, if Blokes did not get anything on this one, it feels like they were too clustered on that attack to make any difference if the ball would have been sent their way.
Should Flame have got it on target? Arguably. Archie, though, continuing that play into a bump on the goalie, and a lovely read, lovely challenge from Casio. And that goal has instantly been rubbed off here for the White Demons. Casio now looking to try and get a third. Perhaps you feel that's the only way that this is going to be truly safe. Unless, of course, the timer hits 0 in that time. 45 seconds left until then, and that is a complete over-rotation. Lucky for the White Demons, Archie had no boost in that tank to make use of it and punish them. Flame, though, he's got plenty of boost. A little bit of spluttering, a little bit here and there, but CRR deals with this one. Archie again over the top, and really nice control here from the top blokes, just keeping them penned, keeping that ball away from the grubby little hands of the White Demons. And looking pretty good here with 20 seconds left. It's CRR looking for a final drive, perhaps. Archie closing down in midfield once again. Tigray, that's a miss. Perhaps a costly one. Dorito, there's Flame again. Another brilliant interception. Tigray with another miss. A final drive here from CRR. It's on target, maybe, but Archie provides the save. Flame will escort this to the floor, and it is a second win in a row for Top Blokes. They're on to match point.
All right, with a bit of trouble here and there, with White Demons definitely ready to just jump back. This was no longer a game in which Top Blokes outshone White Demons in a matter of shots, in a matter of just straight-on pressure. This has been a much more equal affair, and again, you could see the variety of ways that White Demons could have broken. First of all, that time they got it in the end, and also brought the game to the game perhaps in their favor as well. But the Top Blokes, for them, it feels like they're just feeling well. Communication is on point. Rotation is on point. Every single touch, bar the ones that we've seen at the very start of the game one, where they were just dumps, but sometimes they would had to be done to remove the ball from the defense of the Top Blokes. As it stands right now, every single touch that the Top Blokes are making has some something behind that, an idea behind that. Where Top Blokes are looking for each other on the field. Top Blokes are making sure that the possession is not given away cheaply, and as a result, this ends up in this quite a dominating performance. Again, I would say about 65. I think that would be an okay number. 65% of the possession of the game and the dominance on the field.
Oh,
and the time spent on one side, it's been Top Blokes on the orange side of the field, and White Demons immediately concede the first one. Playing from behind is never a good idea.
I was taking a little peek at our lovely Rocket Baguette overlay, the little extra scoreboard that we have, of course, at the end of each game here on the C stream. And the stats were pretty clear. In terms of actual possession, Top Blokes just about edged it. It wasn't as dominating as you think, 52%. What they were dominating in was field domination, however. How expansive the team is, how quickly the team is covering the field. And they were 62% on that one. We've actually seen crazier numbers, and Top Blokes have lost those matches. Big save, by the way, worth mentioning on that occasion, as White Demons look to try and get back into game number 3, back into the series. Remember, if they lose a game from here on out, they are donezo versus the Top Blokes, which will certainly be a monkey off their back. Casio, back into the middle, his Flame. And he's going to try and challenge Dorito, but Dorito manages to sneak it past him. CRR, another good shot on target, but Archie back in town, able to show it the door, and a lovely bit of control to at least bring it to the halfway line. There's Casio. He sees an open net. He goes for it, but CRR doing exactly what Archie did. It's another shot back on net, and CRR putting on the cape here.
Oh, as it stands, White Demons had to rush down to their defense as the Top Blokes were making those clears. For Top Blokes, the saves have been confident, although, of course, every single time White Demons crashed into the Top Blokes, there is a bit of a nervy situation. CR could have gotten on the end of that one still with the ball, and of course he's going to do the flicks, but he's alone, and still somehow he makes it work. Top Blokes in a defensive spot, but too close to each other, not knowing who is going to go for that, making every single one of the Top Blokes fans nervous just for a second. But that play went... came and went. Let's talk about the White Demons tying up the game. A bit of a pressure, a bit of a poor clear, and the rest of the team just not being ready. Casio didn't have anything to do with that one. It is a well-placed shot from Tigray to make sure that the White Demons are still in the series.
Yeah, it was very much coming into the blocks is the rider, Top Blokes, atop the steed, a little bit of skill, a little bit of luck, and certainly they've been riding their luck a couple of times this series versus White Demons. A couple more shots closer on target, and we could be asking serious questions of the Top Blokes moving forward. This is what White Demons needed to do. They've at least brought it back to level peggings. And we're hoping to find a go-ahead goal as Flame with the whiff, but Casio picks up the pieces. And that is potentially an open net. Tigray gets the first block in. CRR gets the second, a double commit, but it works out for Dorito going downfield. Dorito infield again, looking for CRR. Beautiful play from White Demons, and that is the lead.
That has been a hard commit. You could see that the moment this clear comes from Flame, there are two players, that's Dorito and that's CRR, waiting on the wall. The moment they get an interception, well, bam, Top Blokes are all of a sudden on the back foot themselves, trying to rush back, but that attack already continues. And the touches that Top Blokes are trying to make are just delaying the inevitable. Look at that, early another kickoff. And the Top Blokes are always starting these strong, and there's always hope that straight off conceding or scoring, they can either double their lead or perhaps get the tie going back in again.
Archie, Dorito was always just going to wait this one out. Infield again, Flame looking for demos, but none of his team looking to commit. And CRR, it's a 2v1 situation, and the pass a little bit wanting. Here's Archie now. Not really popped off thus far. And Top Blokes will at least know perhaps there's still something in the locker, but here's Tigray again, just a little bit too far behind the pace of the ball. These connections starting to reappear for the White Demons, and that is going to be worrying for Top Blokes, who are riding relatively comfortably at the beginning of game number 3 here. Flame going straight for shot. And Tigray with that save. CRR down the other end, and Tigray going to latch onto this one. It was on target. Archie needed for another save. And lovely time wasting now from the White Demons, as anytime Top Blokes do escape from their own half, it seems to only be with one player. And Jam, when the defensive rotations are looking so good for White Demons, when the transition plays going the other way are looking so good for White Demons, it feels like game number 3 is only going to go one way.
Well, there's still an opportunity to look at that. The counterattacks are still on point for the Top Blokes. And it's understandable that the White Demons are trying to give themselves a good spot. But this was Top Blokes all in the right spots, all with the same idea in their minds. We need to push. We need to rush. We need to make sure that this counts. And that great rotation, we managed to make it work. And here, Dorita just stopping Casio dead in its tracks, saying, no, you're shadowing, but I'm refusing to give you any position on the ball, any even attempt at a shot. We're back on 2-2.
There it is.
Make that 3-2. White Demons try to stop Top Blokes. Nay, they're trying to outshine Top Blokes in this one.
I'm not entirely sure what it stands for, but it feels like CRR means Controlled Rapid Response today. Plenty of on-hand saves and ready to launch it up the other side, provide an assist, provide something special in the final third to keep White Demons, in this case, in the lead, in the game, in the series, most crucially. Both these teams, of course, looking for their first win, their first point on the board, and Casio is somehow going to find his way to the back of the net. A thriller 3-3.
I do not believe this. This had absolutely no business, but no, CRR commits hard on the boost. Tigray is still not there. I felt like there was not enough power on that shot. I was about to lament that. What a great chance wasted. And yet that still rolls in, and White Demons are going to be cursing the day. This was not a mistake. Oh, you never want to commit a mistake, but this... This was definitely fixable. You can fix it with one way, with CRR. Once again, cool and responsive. Can't remember what the other R stood for.
Controlled Rapid Response, Controlled Rapid Redemption, it seems. The first major mistake that we see from him, and instantly rectified. 39 seconds on the clock. 4-3 White Demons. Their series lives on the line. Casio still lurking. They're going for near post, but there were two there. Dorito finds that corner. Look, there's something absolutely outstanding. Casio with a great read. It's off the backboard once again. There's Archie. Not much time for Top Blokes here to at least take it to overtime, but there is still time to make of it. 10 seconds now. Flame looking for the backboard. There's CRR. Actually decides to bounce out of it, and the great decision there again from CRR. Wasting time. Lovely work from the team in orange. It's going all the way back down the other side, and it's going to hit the green stuff, Jam. 2-1 the series. White Demons, you can hear the broom closet starting to creak open ever so slightly.
What a crazy game. Mistakes on both sides. Well, keeping the neutral spectators entertained, that's for sure. But White Demons save themselves from being swept by the Top Blokes and bring the series to just one game difference. And I really, this is flashbacks to the previous series that White Demons have already played today versus Solary. As it stands, Solary won the first two games, also very close, also with one of the overtimes, also going for a little bit more minutes. Like, is this just Groundhog Day situation for them? They win the third game, they win the fourth game. In the end, Solary do take a 3-0 in the final fifth game. I don't think Top Blokes would want to go the distance, because if White Demons might have made that mistake once, definitely they're going to be wiser to make sure that they close down the series with sweeps.
For your first point, I'll let you know when I've got as much money as Bill Murray. For your second point, yeah, this is scary. With Solary, you kind of feel like that team just has dips in the middle of a series, but they can always recover from that. It goes back to this point that we were making at the very top of the series, Jam, the very top of the discussion. If Top Blokes fall off the pace, if they fall behind how the game is being played, the direction of the game, then more often than not,
Dorito!
we see the tides shifting. And boy, oh boy, this is going to be making tides on Reddit.
On everywhere, really, folks. Get clip right now. Be the first one to rush on all the social media and post that goal. Dorito opens up the scoring for White Demons in style. A jump reset from the ceiling as he collects it. And just before everyone has even woken up in the series, White Demons already put 2. Banga banga bongo. 20 seconds. It's all that took White Demons to score and just run away with us. Plenty of time still for something to happen. But a 2-goal lead so early? What have they done in the interim?
They were on the floor, they were begging for mercy, and then they've gotten up and smashed them right in the monocle, Jam. That's what's happened. And Top Blokes just don't know what to do. As of yet, Cassio... Oh, what a play! Not necessarily from Cassio alone on the read. The impossible angle achieved, but keep an eye on Flame here, going straight for the last defender. And this is a 1-goal game once more.
Inventiveness of the play is what I absolutely love about Rocket League. You can do your normal rotations. You can expect the backboard to be tested, the double taps to be had. But it is the originality, something that you pull out of the box that your opponent does not expect, that we are not even expecting to see. And the Top Blokes get themselves a great goal, but almost concede yet another one. White Demons in the 4th game definitely came to play. And this is going to be the test of characters, the test of who is really going to be mentally strong on the field and not try to give up.
Well, I think this goal's probably going to be written off here. Indeed, it is. As Dorito has left the match, we do not know for what reasons, of course, but you can imagine that was going to stop right there. Dorito now rejoining. I believe that second goal should be written off. But good news for the Top Blokes, at least, is that they haven't necessarily just been stunned from the out-the-block style from White Demons here. They have gotten back into the game. And more importantly, they're coming back into the game with creativity, as you rightly say. They're not getting frustrated, this being a trend that we saw from them in particular in the winter split, Jam. They know that they're better than this. They know that they've got to play as a top 4 team a lot more often for all of us pundits to say, yes, absolutely, nailed on. These guys are going to be a threat at future majors, at the championships, of course, to come in the next month or so. I guess from their perspective, they can only hope that this little break isn't going to stutter that momentum.
Well, for all the teams participating in the championship, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of preparation, just like original all the teams have planned to do so for the Worlds. Championships are still a huge cash prize, still a way to show yourself in the scene. For the Top Blokes, again, this is a chance to indeed remind everyone that they are still top 4 and not how they're looking right now. Top Blokes were one of the teams that got one of the final spots for the major, since the spring split has been a far cry from their performance in the winter and fall split as well. Here, they're trying to get back on form. Archie's trying to find his form as well with his issues that he has been having throughout the spring split. The good news for Top Blokes, they are qualified, well, both for Major, as they're playing right now, and for the European Championships, but the performance still needs to be shown for all the new and old fans to be there. We're still waiting for the decision and a little bit of a time warp, I suppose, for us to get back into the match as Dorita has returned. But indeed, that goal most likely is not going to count as he has disconnected before the goal has been scored. Let's quickly take a look at the other matches as well. And as it stands, Group A is just barreling through. German Amigos have lost their second series of the day as BS Competition have won that 3-1. BDS, unsurprisingly, won their second series as well, although that was a little bit tougher than the German Amigos series, as their opponent was Team Vitality. Now Team Vitality are sitting on that one loss, well, not out of the tournament just yet, and losing to perhaps the only team that they would expect to lose against. It is still not a great start for the day. Still have Queso, BS Plus Competition, and German Amigos to play. Team Vitality, I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good day ahead of them.
Still a lot of matches, and you can catch all of them as well. Take a little peek down there. You'll find Squad Mode, where you can watch us, the official Rocket League channel, UGC, all of them available for your viewing pleasure. Of course, only one choice of commentary, and we hope you'll stick with us as we look to round off this series, whether it goes to game 5 or whether it ends here at game number 4. So, your White Demons, Jam. You've gotten back into the series. 7-goal thriller. A lot of goal output. And honestly, playing in a style which we're not used to seeing. Coming out the shell a little bit more often, if shipping a few more goals, at least scoring a few more goals. Was it really just down to accuracy?
I would say, well, not just that, not just the accuracy. Definitely it would have helped, but more the fact that White Demons have been catching top blokes unawares in more positions. Mistakes that were not previously punished were finally punished by the White Demons, and just the degree of the play, White Demons have adjusted to the top blokes as it was going. Still, the kickoffs mostly are going top blokes' way, and I feel like that the idea for the top blokes to overload the White Demons defense with infield passes is still working pretty solidly. So for White Demons, both the threats and the opportunities are still there. They're taking a lot of risk. You can still see that the White Demons sometimes are committing really hard. Yes, they need all three players to make a play, make a goal. And many a times, top blokes have punished them for that. But if you can just outscore your opposition, you might as well win the series, folks. We're all almost ready to make it back into the game. 4 minutes returned on the clock. We did not have that second goal. We're continuing this fourth match between top blokes and White Demons.
The hammer has fallen. The judgment has been made. 4 minutes on the clock. 2-1 White Demons. Early shot. There's Flame. Straight to Archie. The doink upwards. Wins the challenge over Dorito. The Dorito gets enough on it, and Flame there with a whiff. But Casio again looking to clean up the mess, and really good ideas here from top blokes. They know that they're trying to play at a fast pace. They're going to miss a couple of touches, so always have that second guy ready on hand. And Dorito there completely whiffing that one. Casio, lovely pass in field. Is there going to be a second goal finally? It's Flame. Again, a little bit too high. Tigray lurking on the crossbar. Casio backboard again. And that was enough opportunity for CRR to palm this away into the midfield. Archie, oh, that's unfortunate. That's going to go all the way back. Perilously close to their goal mouth. Casio deals with it. Dorito, and that's going nowhere. Flame into the midfield.
Goodness gracious, I'm pretty sure the comments for the top blokes just for a second were, oh god, and maybe a couple of expletives that we obviously cannot repeat on the stream. But then most likely a call from Archie saying that this is off, we don't need to hurry, because I'm not sure if top blokes even had anything to hurry down the field up 4. 2 players beat, although CR not exactly beat, but just following the play, knows how to jump in at the right time. And honestly, for me, it has been the standout player for White Demons. Maybe he's not been topping the standings with goals, although he has been scoring quite a few. But it's his vision of the play, ideas of where to be on the field, and he has been in most of the right spots for White Demons, either neutralizing the threat from the top blokes or being in the right position for White Demons to use him as an anchor player or as a player to pass to up front.
Yeah, only that one major mistake of note in game number 3, and as we've already covered, he rectified it rather well by scoring a goal down the other end within 10 seconds. 2 minutes left on the clock for top blokes as they tried to find the equalizer for the second time of asking. Tigray. Up high goes. CRR wins that challenge straight for Tigray. He's a little bit late to the scene there. Flame gets this away and wins that challenge as well. Well done. And Archie again to win the follow-up. Misses that touch, however, and somehow gets it into the middle. There's your 2-2 equalizer. Quite how he pulled this one out the hat. Oh, brilliant.
Darn, I was on Casio camera seeing as he receives the pass, but it seems like I should have been on Archie camera just to see his recovery, just to see his persistence for the play to make sure that the ball still stays under Tableau's control. Lovely stuff, and nothing less expected from the man himself, Archie. If there's ever was a Tableau, that's definitely him.
We were waiting for him to pop off. We were waiting for it. It's like a sleeping grizzly bear in the cave. You've only got to poke and prod him once to put your lives into your own hands. Dorito now. Easy receive. And Archie again, safety the better part of Valor, finds Casio. No flick over CRR. Straight back to Archie. Tigray locking him in the half. And Flame, that's falling straight to Dorito, playing as an anchor right now. Finds CRR off the backboard, straight to Flame. And again, another precarious touch. Invites Tigray. But Casio with some cool, calm collectiness. Lovely dribble play. There's CRR once again. Archie, midfield. And Dorito, there's a double commit.
Works.
Flame, a little bit too slow on that one. Was a little bit undecided on whether to move forward, whether to move back, just to be safe. I think safe, honestly, the better option in this occasion, Jam. With just over 30 seconds left, you don't want to be giving up a goal to take it to Game 5.
No one wants to make a silly on the field. And that someone definitely is not Tableau's. Oh, dear me, but Flame, good rotation, knows exactly where he needs to be. And this place on the field made sure that even if Casio and Archie decided just to keep the ball flying, just for no reason, Flame was there to make a clear. Still, the ball has returned to the blue side of the field. And while Demons were quite intent on scoring something in the first stages of the game, again, they opened with 2 goals straight in 20 seconds. They're returning back to that blue side of the field. Here, though, a chance, perhaps a clear. Casio is waiting in the middle. Will be able to get at the end of it. And actually is going to score. Not keeping his head down, keeping the head in a play. Casio makes sure that this game is not going anywhere. 3-1 for the Blokes in the series, 3-2 in this match. And all of a sudden, this just gets away from us.
And you know what? It's a great irony, isn't it? That the strategy that has prevailed against Top Blokes time and time again, not just with White Demons, with so many different teams that you would expect on paper for them to wipe the floor with, was actually the tactic that's won them this series. Decent clearance from Flame, great awareness from Casio, who saw that there was time, who saw that he had boost. And we saw it a lot actually in the full split, where the balls, the plays were actually a lot higher in terms of like from the ground upwards. He loved to cherry pick from the midfield line. He caught out a lot of teams with those styles of plays. And although it's a little bit lower in terms of height, once again, in the spring split this time, he has caught a team out. He's caught a team that was desperate to take them to Game 5, perhaps a little bit too desperate, Jam. This is a big win for Top Blokes, and not necessarily in the sense of, oh, you know, it's a 3-1 victory, but this is the sort of banana peel that we've seen from Top Blokes slip up on so many times across RLCS Season X. On this occasion, they've overcome the banana peel. They've stepped over it.
Exactly. Just like Buster Keaton, going past it, winking at the camera and saying, no, tricked you. It's not going to be happening. Top Blokes are now moving at 1-1 in the standings in the group. And with White Demons going 0-2, there's going to be some tough matches for them up front. SK Gaming and Guild are their next opposition, while Top Blokes are going to be playing Solary, SK Gaming as well, for their final 2 matches of the day. Speaking of which, Guild and SK Gaming are currently locked into Game 5 with 4 overtimes in a row. I'm surprised to see whether they're going to get the 5th one as well for what I'm thinking is going to be some sort of a record. Folks, stick around. The day is not done just yet. Team Queso versus German Amigos is going to be next on the stream right here on the Rocket Derby.
Welcome back, everybody, to our C-Stream coverage of the RLCS European Spring Major. It is me, Boyle Royal, joined by Juicy. And today, I'm excited, Juicy. We had some good matches.
There has been good matches so far, and I think we're just going to continue down that line. Especially the last matches they had on this stream with the last-second top Blokes goal. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, that top Blokes series started off so shaky, but that last game was absolutely insane from both teams. That top Blokes and 0-second goal really closed things out on it, and well, what a way to end it. I feel bad for White Demons, though. He really tries hard to take it.
They've had a rough one so far. I mean, the first series was a reverse sweep that was just denied. They almost managed to continue it, and then now there's this series where they got so close to at least making it a proper good series, and it's the last second goal that really just kind of crushes their dreams a little bit. So that's not the best.
Yeah, certainly not the best start for them. But speaking of teams who've not had the best start, our match now coming up, you can see it in the top right of your screen. It is Team Queso versus German Amigos. German Amigos currently 0-2 so far on the day. Currently 2-6 overall. So really not the best performance for them. They took a game against BDS. It's a good game against BS plus competition, but now, really, if they want to have a chance to make it out of groups, they have got to beat Queso, which is no easy feat considering Queso's early sweep, and it was a dominating sweep as well.
Yeah, it's just such a good series for them. The first one just managing to clinch out the overtime, and then it was a 4-1 win, and not just any 4-1, because this Team Queso team, for me at least, the one thing that really sets them apart is their individual skill, right? All three of them are absolutely cracked players. And then suddenly in that series, they were also doing it as a team, which just made it 10 times even scarier.
Yeah, certainly so. I think Team Queso has that kind of ability, where as individuals, they're all insanely fast, mechanical, really excellent players, but when they work as a team, it's a whole different level of what you have to go against, and it really can cause a lot of damage for so many teams. That's why they are one of the top teams of Europe, is when they click together and when they're having that excellent day, they are almost unstoppable. But will that continue today, or will German Amigos be able to find their first win? It's game number 1 of this best of 5 series. Potentially the most important match of the day for German Amigos, is if they lose this, their chances of making out of the groups are little to none, with Vitality being the last team left for them to play. So they have got to do well, and an early chance for them being denied by that hit off the side. Now with VK sailing going for the counter. Luckily Catalysm survives, but Atomic and a fight through will not prevail.
And I think the one thing that really goes into the favor of German Amigos here as they create a small chance for themselves is the fact that Team Queso is so aggressive, and you've got a defensive team with German Amigos, and that creates space. Almost a goal there too. They couldn't quite finish it out.
A close attempt, but will not work out just yet. German Amigos goal is so too for Queso, and both sides having minimal chances. Catalysm in the back line trying to get this ball away. Challenge well with the corner. Big clear from Ivan. Send that to the back corner, but not following up in time to Mesa. Beautiful touch. Luckily for German Amigos, Rezex is right there waiting, and it will not be going into the net just yet. But the counter play from German Amigos not being too dangerous and not been able to find much. And at the moment, I would say Queso looking very, very comfortable on the pitch.
The one thing that is looking really scary for me so far, though, is Rezex has been on point with his mechanics, but so is the entirety of Team Queso. Cheeky flip reset there from the Mensa, just trying to create some time, some space for his teammates to jump into that rotation. But on the other side, they need to do it on the defense, but they do so quite comfortably.
Yeah, you mentioned Rezet's mechanics. In that match we saw on stream of German Amigos versus BDS, Rezet was the main man doing all the kind of amazing plays, getting the goals, and if he can keep that up, I don't know how he did against BS Plus competition. It was still him as the top scorer, but if he can kind of try and find that form again against Queso, but Atomic into Mensa. Trying to shut down that opportunity, but a counter attack now Ivan Catalysm, but they missed it as well. The follow-up there from Ivan, and fortunately it goes in, but how close was that?
It is not clean on either side, but it is the German Amigos getting away with that goal. The chance was for Team Queso, couldn't finish it off, and then on the counter-attack, arguably it should have been a goal already there, Boyo, but they got away with the goal. They'll be very happy with that one, because that's a very good start here in Game 1.
Yeah, it was a big miss there from German Amigos. Luckily, Ivan was there to clean it up. But, Queso so close to an insane first goal. German Amigos do take the lead, we're feeling happy about that. Reddit trying to find another one as well. One thing I can say about German Amigos is when they have a lead, they seem like a very solid defensive team. They can usually hold a lead pretty well, and it takes a lot of hard work to break through that barrier. So now it's going to be a lot harder for Queso. They're going to have to be a lot more creative with their plays, a lot more aggressive, I think, maybe take out some defenders along the way. Otherwise, they're going to struggle to find this goal back as there's Ivan diving by for the save. The pass to Catalysm as well. VK Salem will get the touchdown. Past one, it will go. Good shot on net, but Ivan once again just waiting there for the save. That's a big miss and a potential counter-attack. But Catalysm will take it out to the side as he has time to do so.
Yeah, you were talking about their defense being quite good so far. That is a goal though. Left wide open. 3 Queso players in one corner, and it does not end well.
Oh, German Amigos, they are here to win. And that is a great tap in by Catalysm to secure the goal. Putting the German Amigos 2-0 up. With 2 minutes on the clock, they are looking great. But can they keep that up? Reset's going to send us out to the corner. One thing I'm worried about is we've seen German Amigos take one game in both series so far. They took the game 1 against BDS. So it's definitely not going to be comfortable for them even if they take this game. They have got to do more work. It's the men still going to try and get this ball upfield, try and spark a comeback. BK Salem denied, that shot's on target, gonna roll in, but Atomic on the line! Barely keeps that one out. Couldn't get any closer.
That keeps Queso alive though. That means that it's not that third goal. That's not too big of a gap to bridge. There's still plenty of time here for Team Queso, but the chances have been very sparse. We've seen some magic coming out from the Team Queso players so far, but they need a bit more. Otherwise, it's not going to be quite enough, and they seem to be hitting the post a little bit too often here, Boyo.
Away it goes. Atomic will get the save. But Team Queso need a counter-attack. They need to do something with it. Ivan has been the main man, defending everything coming his way. 3 saves to his name. He's done a great job in that back line, but even up front, 1 goal, 1 assist. He is doing the most for German Amigos in game 1. But will it continue? Can Queso break through? Can they find that team pride? But Ivan's on the pitch, and he's here to win. Off the ceiling he'll go, and what a goal it was.
Second post, Ivan's up, needs to find the angle, does that, hits the top corner, and it's unsavable. German Amigos here are on a roll, and they're just rolling up the Queso.
The German side having an absolute field day for game 1. Dominating Team Queso to start things off. It's Germany versus Spain, and so far, Germany has the upper hand. But can this continue? 30 seconds left to go. Game 1 almost certainly going to go for German Amigos' way. But Queso are the team who I think can almost certainly bounce back. But will they be able to do it? Ivan is now playing incredibly well. And I can't even say Catalysm and Resex aren't. They just don't need to play well because Ivan is absolutely carrying the team today.
What? They might just
okay.
here. No, yes, they do. PK Salem manages to push it through, and it will make it 3-1. But it's only 10 seconds to play, boy. I think this is completely fine for German Amigos. They'll be feeling very chuffed with that game 1.
Certainly so, they'll be happy with that result. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the ending save there, but either way, a 3-1 scoreline with 10 seconds left. I think I can beg to say that they are comfortable in this scoreline. I don't think they're going to throw this game away, but heading into game 2, Juicy, do you think they'll be able to keep it up, or do we think that Queso can bounce back and really start to shut them down?
I think there were a couple of things which were scary in from the side of the German Amigos, which we also saw in the previous series, and that is their strength is their defense, right? And that's what we keep saying. But whenever they let their first touches get too far away from them, and they can't follow it up themselves, then there's instantly a Team Queso player just there to challenge, and that's when they get pressured, they lose all of their boost, and that's how Team Queso can get back in. So German Amigos, they just need to play it safe. That's all they need to do. Just make sure that they can basically just carry out the ball out of defense, and they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think if they can overall figure out what they're doing in that defensive position and keep it solid and not really let anything slip by, they should be pretty comfortable. But I think if they concede the first goal, it's going to be a lot more worrisome for them. As a comeback, It's going to be so much harder. Their whole strategy, it seems at least, an outsider's perspective, is that they get the lead and they just defend for their life's content. But if they start low, it could get shaky.
Yeah, no, but it's literally a matter of staying calm. Just wait for Team Queso to make the mistake to overcommit, because they will. Because all of them are just smelling blood whenever they are in attack, and they want to be the ones to score that goal, which leaves a lot of space right here. That space is for Ivan, but he can't really do too much with it.
Catalysm off to the side. We'll slip past one, bringing it in centre as well. Ivan can't make it in time for the shot, but he's able to continue to pressure the pass out to Rizex. Sustained pressure is what German Amigos need for the early goal, and Ivan going off the ceiling to try to continue that. It's Rizex now. That touch is not what he was looking for, throwing away all possession and giving it to Team Queso. Now this gets danger for German Amigos. They're in defense, show what they do best, but can they hold on? It's Mensa, looks for the bum, no he doesn't even need to, but Ivan diving in, the saving grace of this German squad.
I think the only scary thing here for Queso is they do find the goal though there with Atomic. You would think that that was going to get saved, but Rizex on the backboard, just in an unfortunate position, has to jump off and then can't really recover in time. And that is that scenario that you were talking about, Boyo. It is Team Queso with the first goal.
1-0 start for Team Queso. Now, as we were talking about just before, can German Amigos deal with this? Well,
No.
certainly not right there. The bump is coming out from the Mensa. I think he actually gets bumped forward by Atomic, but I'm not going to call that on purpose. But the fact that the Mensa can react to that, instantly change his idea, get the bump on Catalysm, leave that wide open, is absolutely insane. And Queso does such a good job to find himself a second and make German Amigos have to fight even harder to bring this game back.
I think that was the first pull shot bump that I've ever seen where you just push your teammate. It could be a strat as well because you keep your flip, of course, so you can control your trajectory after very well. But that is two very quick goals for Team Queso, who right now are pretty much cruising in this game because they know that they can tone it down a little bit. They don't need to overcommit, and that is exactly where the strength of the German Amigos lie.
Pass upfield to Atomic off the backward, it will bounce. VK sailing shot not strong enough.
What?
He had a breakthrough. The bump on Atomic on the way back, Ivan. An easy goal for him, but Team Queso, they really wanted that goal. They were determined to get it, as every single player diving in is a terrible idea.
Yeah, you're 2-0 up. You've got plenty of time. The only thing that you shouldn't do is concede a goal, but the Mensa right there just flying for a goal with for a ball which wasn't anywhere near him, gets beaten, and it's just a free goal right there. That's gonna hurt for Team Queso because such a good start to this second game, and now you gotta watch out.
Atomic over to VK sailing out to the corner, it will bound. Catalysm gets the catch on it and trying to get this ball away. The Mensa will shut him down for the moment and holding that in the German Amigos half. But a missed touch there from VK sailing does leave it for Atomic, but I think German Amigo could have easily pounced on that ball there if they were expecting the miss. It's coming in centre, things are getting a little bit dicey, but they have found an opening and it might just be a goal. The Mensa stretches far enough for the save. The Catalysm there for the follow. Another amazing save though for Team Queso.
But the absolute speed of the game is non-existent. We've gone from running to a couple of snails here, and it's really good for German Amigos as they find their second goal.
Well, I take back what I said about them. I said I don't think they'll be able to come back from an early deficit. Well, I was certainly wrong. They have tied up this game. And 2-2 the scoreline now. Team Queso, after a huge error and just getting outplayed right there, have lost their lead that they worked so hard at the start of the game to get. And now they've got to try and find another go back against a sturdy defense like German Amigos.
And right there, Ivan also doing his best Mario impression by just landing on an opponent. A shot here, 2-0, just wide. Might get another opportunity. Should be a pass down for Rizex. He actually goes for the shot. Could have probably find Catalysm there, but still, the pressure is mounting for the German Amigos. And by just making the game so much slower, they are playing into their own strength. They are so good individually when they have time, when they can control the ball, and they are not allowing Team Queso to utilize the speed that they have.
Dropping down, over to Rizex. He takes it high, trying to fight against VK sailing. And what a 50! That's not even a 50, that's just 100-0. VK sailing, no chance over Rizex on the ball. Takes it down, and that is a goal for German Amigos. Puts them into the lead.
They get to play their game right now, boy. They can just dictate the pace. They can dictate what they're going to do. And this goal perfectly encapsulates that. It is just Ryzex making his own plan, knowing how he's going to outplay that last defender, and they grab the goal, and their comeback for this game at least is complete. Now they just need to hold on.
Well, you know, after their loss against BS plus competition, the German Amigos Twitter account did tweet a lot of regames, so it seems like they've done exactly that with this excellent performance so far in the series. Game 1, a great win, and Game 2 looking so good so far. But Queso, only 1 goal in it, they can bring it back. They found 2 goals already, why can't they find a third? Well, the answer will probably be German Amigos' excellent defense, but can they find that breakthrough? One slip up is all Queso needs, and they need to capitalize on it.
But you can see that some of the dedication and like pure determination that we normally see from Team Queso has kind of flown away. They're not going for these double taps that they hit 9 out of 10 times normally because the speed of the game is just too low for them. That's a good infield pass though, but it gets intercepted, as does every single attack right now for Team Queso.
A cleared up field, Atomic, gonna take this one out to the corner. Trying to win a teammate along the way, but will not work out. The shot will be saved by VK Sailing and Dementor. Passing to VK Sailing. Upfield, Queso will advance, but can't they do anything with it? Ivan with a dive in, takes out 2 along the way. A 1v1, but he's got no boost. It drops the Catalysm. He's going to continue. All German Amigos need to do is just not allow Queso a chance, and they're doing exactly that. Holding the ball in their half, sustaining the pressure. They don't care if they even score right now. They just don't want Queso to have a chance at scoring. They're doing such a good job in that department. The clear up field, easily saved by Catalysm. The Dementor will try and bring it away, but denied by Ivan once again. VK Sailing can't make it in time in Game 2. Well,
Oh no!
it's going
That is such a good chance. Don't say it yet, boyo. Don't
to
say it
go
yet.
to
Yeah,
German
okay.
Amigos.
Okay.
Okay,
Nah.
I took my breath for a second there.
Nah,
Oh.
that was an easy call. No stress at all. That was
Yeah,
such
definitely
a good
not.
chance. Oh, but it's Team Queso. I think it's perfectly describing of how this year's been going for them so far. They've not been playing bad, right? It's not like they've had nothing to say, especially in this game where they found the 2 early goals. But the fact that they can't close it out, and the fact that their shooting just doesn't seem on par as what it normally is. Everything's just hitting the post, it's hitting the crossbar, and as a result, we have a very serious lead here for the German Amigos.
Yeah, the German Amigos now at match point. A reverse sweep needed for the Spanish side, Team Queso, to bring this series back and get another win under their belt. If they lose this, they'll be 1-1 in the group stage, and German Amigos, they'll be going 1-2, starting the redemption for the group after that disappointing loss against BS plus competition. They want to make top 8 realistically, so they've got to try and fight out of this extremely difficult group of Vitality, BDS, and Queso.
Yeah, it's
Like-
a group of death.
That group is terrifying for any team.
And the fact that the German Amigos have kept their spirits high after those first 2 losses, the fact that, you know, they've not had the best start and now they just come in against Team Queso, who most would argue is just a top 4 team in Europe, let alone like a top 10 team in the world at least. So that is a very strong side that you're facing, but German Amigos is not playing afraid. They're playing their own game. They're being allowed to play their own game. And as a result, they have a very real chance of actually getting out of this group after all.
Oh, Atomic. A great attempt there, but will be saved on the line, dropping down. Now VK Sailing going to let that ball roll for a minute. As lets Dementor get into possession round the back corner. Ivan's waiting with a pass to Rezex as well. Upfield it will be launched, but no one ready to pound. Very passive start for both sides, but I think we're going to see if I can amp up very, very soon with Team Queso getting into the positions now, getting ready to try and take this game by storm. They have to win this, and they have to win 2 more after if they want to take this series. And I know Team Queso, they will want to take this series.
Yeah, but we need to see more from the boy though, because they can't concede here. They actually don't, because Atomic has a good save there. But I'd like to see some solo plays. I'd like to see them just take control of the ball, stop just booming everything forward, because you know that third man from German Amigos is sat all the way back. They're not going to allow in any free goal here. So just watch out for that. Keep the ball close. Try and actually outplay their opponents.
Dropping down, good save there by Dementor. He rises high for the ball. Catalysm will get the touch into the corner. And able to follow up as well. Great boost grab along the way. Looks for a teammate. He sees one on the ground. He can't find the path as VK Sailor intercepts. But Ivan ready in position for that touch. and gets straight into the action. Off the back wall, he will go. Can't find a touch on time. Rezek in center tries to find the opening. Dementor will deny off to the side. Over to Atomic. A bump on VK Sailing. Great work by Ivan. So vital in this game he has been for the German Amigos side. The Austrian really helping the Germans. I can't lie. It's to be changed to the Austrian Amigos, and he finds the pass to one of his Amigos himself. Catalysm just taps that one in over the pass of Ivan. Atomic can't make it in time.
Yeah, I think Atomic just slightly got bumped there, and as a result couldn't get to the ball. That's why it was such a free shot, but that's the communication as well right there. Ivan just being so sure that he can get the bump. He calls it out for his teammate, who normally probably wouldn't go for those balls, as it is very risky. Now they do have to watch out. Almost could see, but even that doesn't go in for Team Queso.
How on earth have they missed that? Team Queso throwing away chances left, right and centre. That should have been a goal whenever the opportunity. Dementor can he make up for it? Yes, he can finally. But how on earth did he miss that first one, Juicy? I could not tell you.
I mean, I'm a Rocket League coach, right, boyo? So I should know, but I've got no clue either. That seemed like one where you just drive onto the ball and it goes into the goal, and they forgot to do that. But they do find the goal back here. Hopefully that instills some confidence in them, because that is what they need right now. If they start feeling down, if they start doubting their mechanics, it's going to go from bad to worse.
Ooh. Great save there by Atomic. Over a powerful shot from the German Amigos. They take it off the backbone and dropping that down out to the side. Leaves that ball for Dementor, and that's a wide open net. It's just going to go in. German Amigos, they got a bit distracted, it seemed like. Didn't know where they were supposed to be going, and they left that net wide open.
Yeah, I think just a tad awkward there with the fake in the own corner, which they wasn't expecting, and then Ryzek pushing up, not being able to make the challenge, so his entire team pushing up too. Net wide open as a result as well, and it's a bit unfortunate here for the German Amigos. You gotta wonder though, boyo, if the nerves are starting to get to them, because they know they finally have this match point. They're in a good position, but now they're conceding another.
What?
Yeah, that's unlucky.
That was I can't even bring that to German Amigos. That was just insanely fortunate, I guess, for Queso. I don't know if it was particularly intended by VK Sailing, but the fact that no one was expecting that. But Queso nonetheless go 2 goals up, 3-1 now with 2 minutes left. But we did see German Amigos come back from a 2-goal deficit earlier on. Can they do it again? Or Resident going to try and start that journey with taking the ball to the corner? Denied by VK Sailing upfield, it will be sent. Follow up from Atomic, it's dropping down to the post.
What?
Follow up shot. How is it? Queso, lads, fix your shooting, come on. How are you missing some of these shots?
There's so many chances in the first game as well. That should just be a goal 100% of the time. You cannot afford to miss those, and if you do, you just full on deserve to lose a series, because that are just sloppy chances. It's lucky that it happens in this game where they're leading with 2 goals, but now a goal for German Amigos could be absolutely detrimental. And I'm wondering, what is VK Sailing thinking right now, because that's not going to be great for your mental.
Certainly not. And German Amigos, if they can bring even 1 goal back, it could cause a lot of worry in that Queso comms and the Queso side. They seem good right now with the shots they're getting off. Close attempts. But if German Amigos can bring one back, Queso are going to feel worried. They're going to feel pressured to hold on. And 1 minute on the clock, there's time for the German Amigos side. But can they break through? Currently being pressured to all oblivion. Seems like it's going to be hard for them to find that opening.
They've really gotten a very sloppy series now. Maybe a chance here though for RLCS. Gets it onto the backboard. As well defended by the Mensa. Bit of a triple commit though. And this is scary, where Team Queso just wants to find that play, but they dedicate all 3 players for it. You know, you got the first pass and then immediately the follow-up, which can work if you're playing really well. But if it's not that, then you could just concede on the counter-attack.
Dropping down over to the Mensa. Rezheads will beat out 1. Follow-up touch will get it to the corner. Bouncing high. Centre, it will go. Catalysm's touch. In centre once again. Ivan rising for the ball. He'll get the shot on target. Easily dealt with by the Mensa. Missed out by Rezheads. He can't follow up in time. German Amigos tried hard for that lad's goal, but they could not find it. And with that goal not working out, that means that this game will go in favour of Team Queso, and we'll see a 2-1 series. So not a sweep for German Amigos, and Queso starting their journey for that reverse sweep.
Yeah, they're getting back into the series, which is really good to see, because with the way that they've been playing, they deserve it. It's just been the shooting that has been really just absolutely abysmal. I've got a lack for a better word here, Boya, because we've seen multiple chances where players of this caliber should just be scoring them, and I think if we saw them score them in like the first game already, we could have had a much different series on our hands. But Team Queso take this game, keeps themselves alive in the series, which is really all that matters at this point.
I think more importantly, though, one of the things that this series and this whole, I guess, split has shown is that German Amigos and BS Competition, White Demons, all of these teams, also SK Gaming, these are some top teams now.
Yes.
And the only reason they are not fighting for a championship spot is because they went together at the start of the whole circuit here. That's the only reason. Otherwise, they would be contenders. And that's exciting to see for the future. We have, at least this as well, 4 new teams who are top contenders. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see this German Amigos team as a top 6 team in Europe. But the reason is they weren't together for long enough that they can't be top 6 overall. And I think that will change in the future, though. I think that if they stick together and keep up the pace, this could be a new dominant force in Europe.
I mean, I know that we dubbed the last regional the Mickey Mouse regional, which is partly fair, but I think it also undermines one really important thing about Europe, and that is that almost every single team has a kryptonite. There's so many teams that have a very distinct play style, and if you come up against something that just completely counters yours, like we see here from Team Queso and German Amigos, where Team Queso should just be the better team, but is getting countered by German Amigos quite literally in their attacks, and that's one that falls in as well. And that is just making a difference here.
Oh, the clip on Atomic, you'll see here by Ivan, barely knocks him out. And Viz get that on target. Dementor's not ready for it. He didn't expect to have to make that save in this position, but he does, and he can't reach the ball, barely missing out. What a bump it was. Rezex will find the first for German Amigos. And a great start for him. Can Ivan find a second? They're driving in for the ball, will not work out. But passing back and forth between Dementor and VK Sailing will start a counter attack for Queso, trying to find that goal back. A good demo right there. Ivan's up for the ball. Atomic going to turn on it. That is in centre. Great save by Catalysm. Dementor to the ceiling, dropping it down. Ivan will get the save and the clear away. Now advancing upfield, trying to find himself a second. It is in centre. No one there to pounce. But
Oh no!
Off a huge mistake from Dementor. What? Where's this going, Dementor? He's tapped the ball high. He's absolutely dipped. And I don't know what on earth he was thinking.
Oh, that absolutely hurts. Maybe he thought there was someone behind him, but the fact that the pass from Ivan wasn't already great because no one was pushing up in mid with him, and that touch from Dementor just was completely unnecessary. He could have just taken the ball into the corner, didn't do so, paying a very, very big price, because that is the second goal here for German Amigos. And like we said time and time again, this is a very defensive side. You have to fight for your chances, and that is what Team Queso has to do for the rest of this game.
Kind of hard to see looking through that replay. You've seen that Dementor see the Atomic behind him just after he touches that ball, going for the boost. I think at that very moment, he knows what he done was wrong, but trying to make up for it now is Queso once again, but they can't find the goal and sent all the way back to their own half. They're going to have to fight through that midfield battle once again. VK Sailing tries to find pass. He can't do it. It's Atomic to the corner. It will bounce up high. Ivan, he's going to send it away once more. He misses the touch, but leads for Catalysm. Dunked on by Dementor. VK Sailing rushes in, but can't make a touch. Atomic taking his time. It's in centre. It's saved by Ivan. Great plays all around.
Dementor again! Again with the miss there. It's not the first. He's not having the best series so far, nor is the entirety here of Team Queso. On the triple! Almost a triple flip reset there for the German. Absolutely cruising right now. I guess you could say that the Germans Amigos are sailing here with a goal. Catalysm.
Redhead's almost got the triple, then Catalysm just runs through the corner, beats everyone, then taps it in off the wall. German Amigos, what on earth is going on? They are playing out of their minds this series, Juicy. All of them. I wish Redhead scored that goal though. If Redhead scored that triple quick reset, it would have been insane. But he might score off kick-off, get away. Atomic with a diving save. Gets it upfield, and it's now Dementor trying to work with VK Sailing. They find it past one. Atomic comes in. He can't do anything about it. And a 3-goal deficit is so worrisome for Queso with only 2 minutes on the clock. a big demo. The VKSL and just not ready for that goal.
The positioning from the German Amigos has to be said, though, is so impeccable. Every single pass that's being attempted by Team Queso is just being taken out. They just make sure that they're in the position that they need to be in. Because right there, you're going to get a free shot, you're going to get a free goal, you're going to get a 4-0, and you're going to get a series.
Oh, Queso's comms and their whole rotation just are not working this series. Atomic diving out for that ball. He's never going to get that. He has to stay back there. But he goes out. He's frustrated. German Amigos have frustrated this team. And they're trying everything they can to find a goal. And it is not working out. 4-0 now to German Amigos. They're looking set to take this series and try and turn around this group stage start, which was not so flattering for them. A 0-2, sorry, in the group so far. 2-6 in games, so they are really trying to turn that around. Trying to go 1-2, trying to possibly go 2-2 if they can take down Vitality later. But this is the start of that journey. 4-0 in game number 4 is an exceptional result.
Absolutely brilliant from them here in this fourth game, and the first 2 games as well just overall haven't played so well. There is still a minute on the clock, you know, it is theoretically possible. It's a very big mountain to climb here for Team Queso with the way that they've been playing so far, and that team bump as well. I don't see it happening. That's basically time wasting on the side of German Amigos as well, where they take it so slow. They just make sure that they keep possession of the ball. Very, very well played by them. I am super impressed.
And you know what I'm thinking about now, Juicy, is that this match actually could turn out to be the deciding match for who goes out of the group. Because if we see that Queso lose against BDS and Vitality, and so too does German Amigos lose to Vitality, we'll have German Amigos and Queso both on 1 and 3, and then things get really dicey for one of these teams. We could have a championships team going out in the group stage and German Amigos moving on, but that's in centre catalysm to finish it off, to put salt in the wound, makes it 5-0. And ladies and gentlemen, there's no point even wondering if it is now. That is GG. German Amigos are going to take this series.
Absolutely broken is how Team Queso will leave the pitch right here, because not only do they lose this match, which if they'd won would have just guaranteed them going through, now they are on the chopping block as well. They need to watch out, and with what fashion as well. It's not been pretty for them in this series.
And with that said, you see it declared on your screen. German Amigos find their first win of the group stage against Team Queso, and what result it was, Game 4, absolutely dominating them. And well, Juicy, I'm excited to see how they do against Vitality, unfortunately off stream, but I just want to see the results of that match. But also, question marks for Queso, as they have Vitality and BDS as their next 2 matches of the day. Their last 2 of the group stage could cause a lot of worry for that Spanish side.
Yeah, it's just been such an interesting group here in Group A, where Team Queso first beats BS Plus Competition, then BS Plus Competition beats German Amigos, and now German Amigos beats Team Queso, just meaning that anyone can beat anyone, which makes it very entertaining going forward for the rest of the day. Because, you know, if German Amigos had lost this, they would have had to face Vitality later on, and it would have kind of been end of the chapter there. But right now they are fully alive, but so are BS Plus Competition, Team Vitality, Team Queso. It's going to be a bloodbath right here in Group A.
Certainly so. And with that said, we will see you with our next match, our final match of the day. And it's going to be an extremely exciting one. The newly picked up SK Gaming playing off against top Blokes. And SK Gaming having an insane run so far. Already taking down Guild earlier on, and I believe they might have taken down White Demons. I need to get updated on that very quickly. It is currently 2-0 in the series. It might have just been 1, but either way, SK Gaming against top Blokes will be our next match on stream. Stick around for that one. It is going to be a great one. And with that said, we'll see you then.
Welcome all to the European Major. It is the spring split, to be more specific, here on the Rocket. And we've had 6 members of staff in terms of the cast and crew giving their thoughts and opinions, so why not 2 more into this as well. And with that said as well, Ian, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I think I learned from the last time I was sitting on a desk with you, Danny. Was I was very hungry last time, and I kept talking about food. I've managed to make sure I ate before coming on today, so I wouldn't, annoy you with my food talk and pudding talk and all these things. So, good preparation, and I've been enjoying the Rocket League today.
Well, it's fair enough. I think one team in particular might need a packed lunch today, almost the OT Masters. But before we get maybe more into who that is, I think it's time to look at the overall standings in, because so far we've had 3 rounds played completely. Well, that was maybe one tasty treat as well here. We already see our schedule more specifically as well, to BDS 3-1 against German Amigos earlier. That was a fabulous matchup as well, so you can already expect them sitting on 2-0 in the group. Queso 1-1, Vitality 1-1, BS Plus Competition 1-1, German Amigos 1-2 here. And before we break down even more of the results, Ian, as it stands, is this expected in terms of the results?
I would say most of the results, I think you could expect it, you could predict it. I think seeing Solary 2-0 in SK Gaming, of course, their kind of debut with the name being 2-0. But when you look at Group A, I wouldn't have expected it to be too much different. You've got Queso who took a regional championship. You saw BDS are BDS. Don't need too much explaining. To see them on 2-0, of course, doesn't shock me. But it would have been nice to see German Amigos, maybe BS Plus competition, scare people a little more, but they end up both on 1 and 2 so far.
Yeah, it's interesting how that is as well. And I'm actually going to ask you the question. Funny enough, Jam asked in the pre-show, I thought it was quite a good point as well. He talked about the Triple Crown. I'm slightly renaming it slightly. I think Crown sounds better, but BDS has won the last 2 majors of Europe. That's clean, no arguments there. Does BDS stand the biggest chance of all to become really the team of Europe, near enough maybe even the 4 regions as in, because no other team can say that, or at least have the possibility of doing that this RLCS season?
I think they'll very much have that in the forefront of their mind, saying, look, we've performed incredibly well over this season. We've taken so many championships, we've got so many accolades to our name, and being sort of the last major of this season, I don't think they're going to take the foot off the pedal. They've got one thing in mind, and they've dropped 2 games today, I think, in total of the 8 they played, so 6-2 across all the games. And it just does show the quality they have, especially when you've got teams in that group. But I think a lot of people will be looking at that group and say that's the group of death. It's really, really challenging, with Vitality, Queso, and then Amigos and BS Plus Competition, who have been performing fairly well this season. You see them then still being dominant, and I don't expect them to change that today.
That's not too bad as well. And just to harbour the point as well, before any of the games, this particular major itself, the regional split itself, played 92. Do you want to know what the win rate was out of interest, Aidan?
Oh, you're going to have to drop it on me, because I'm sure it's quite a shocking number.
67.39%. That is a massive number, and I think every other team would be envious to have a record like that. And just even looking at their list of wins as well too. Vitality, top Blokes, Solary down there as well here. They've only actually lost 3 off so far in this split entirely here. Can you name them, Aidan?
I do believe, the game that we're casting later, one of those teams were actually one of the teams to beat BDS in a bit of a surprise result. I think it was 4-1 actually in Regional 2 in the quarterfinals. And I don't think BDS were expecting it, but Top Blokes came to play that day. And I believe the other 2 losses came at the hands of Guild Esports. And for me personally, that was also quite a surprise, because Guild Esports was one of these teams you're never sure what to expect from them. But apparently they're a bit of a bogey team to BDS, towards the end of this season in Regional 3.
Well, you said Bogey team actually lost twice, to be specifically, as well. 0-3 in Group A in Regional 3, and in the semi-final, 4-3 in that best-of-7 thriller as well. Of course, Guild gone on to win it, of course. It was seen in the group stage as well there. Guild, a little bit shaky, not necessarily outstanding so far here. I think maybe the reflection of Group B as well, just very quickly here. 1-1 they're standing here. Are they in threat here? Because they have done it once in, being eliminated from the group. Are they trying to make sure they're not within threat here? Because remaining on their docket here is Soldary and White Demons here, who is currently, and let's be a bit blunt here, on the verge of going out, White Demons. It is really a case, see where the results lie at the moment.
Well, White Demons today, I think, are starting to be the specialists of failing a reverse sweep. Starting series fairly weak, fairly slow, finding a way back in, but when it really matters towards the Game 4s and Game 5s, they step off the gas again. And they're sitting on 0-3, and having watched their games, I would say I don't think they would have really deserved to take a win. And, well, Top Blokes, I would say, did not have a great series against them. That was really a series I think White Demons could have stepped up in and taken a win, but then went on to go against SK Gaming just now and went into an overtime in Game 5, unable to reverse sweep there. And I think they might be a little bit hurt, and I would expect them to stay down in the bottom there of Group B.
Well, that's fair enough, and that's maybe enough talk so far as the recap of where the day has been. Harbor the present in, because the match we've got up here was called sort of the highlight of our schedule more specifically, and I think the match of the entire regional in the group stage, SK Gaming versus Top Blokes. You could not get a more tighter match in terms of not only staying in the top 4, but the race to top the group too.
No, absolutely. I mean, first of all, it's great to see, SK Gaming, the name back in Rocket League. I think it's been about around a year, maybe a little more. And, picking up the other roster who have been performing quite well. And you see, Yukio signing with another org. It's good to see him going places. But really today, Ixo and Tox have been really impressing me with their finishing. And Top Blokes have not really, for me, been the Top Blokes that I have in the past enjoyed seeing. I've seen Archie looking a little awkward in defense, a lot of the time relying heavily on Casio to pull saves out of the bag, and also to basically win their series against White Demons with a 0-second goal in Game 4. I'm worried that he's going to be asked to do too much against SK.
That's a fair point as well. I think it would only be fair if we do mention to an extent Archie didn't play all necessarily in the grid, had an injury, was seeking medical treatment. Of course, we are hoping he's fully recovered as well. Might play a bit off it. Some would say excuse, some would say the reason. As far as we know, he is at least recovered well enough to play, and we, of course, wish a more speedier recovery. But our league, who is the Top Bloke caster, was a bit critical to an extent here, expecting Top Blokes to maybe throttle on the pedal a little bit more, sort of keep pushing and pushing, but they are already a championship side. Europe has already got the 6 spots locked in here, so is this a case of feeling the ground, see what needs to improve, and work on to the championship run at this point?
I mean, definitely Top Blokes have had, first of all, it's not often you can say that there's a player that is injury prone in Rocket League, and of course it is unfortunate for Archie, the problems he's had with his hand and now his knee as well. I don't think today, the knee is going to be throwing off his play too much. I'm not sure how his hand is doing, but Top Blokes, they flex the muscles a little bit with Rams playing for them, the coach, and that clearly wasn't the go-to during the grid. And at the moment, I would have expected with the re-inclusion of Archie that we would have seen a little bit more. And that first series against Guild was quite telling in terms of how they started the day with getting swept by Guild and then moving on, struggling against White Demons. I didn't think they were convincing at all, and then get swept by Solary as well.
You just outlaid everything there, because you expected a little bit more from Archie, but again, if you're having a few doubts, yes, you're not going to play as well at this point, but thankfully, top 4 gives you into the playoffs, so the major tomorrow on the main channel. Of course, any of the matches you've seen here on the Rocket, well, the VOD's handily available, or on YouTube as well. Just search up the Rocket, links down below as well too. But And here's a massive but as well, and I love talking about this. May alluded to it as well, Aidan. OT Kings. SK Gaming hasn't been around since, as far as my knowledge, about 2016, more specifically when Jazer was on the team, of course, to be a world champion later on, of course, sub for Flipside Tactics. SK Gaming has been in their sort of first match, and I'll just read out just from my little paper. I've got the notes here. 1 minute 32, 1 minute 46, 12 seconds, 3 minutes, and their third longest OT this regional, 8 minutes and 16. Is SK Gaming loving the OT because they just can't get away from it, it seems?
It's kind of insane, really, to think that, you know, you've played 5 games at the point at which they ended the guild series, and every single one of them has gone to overtime. So I think you've got 100% of games played at that point, you know, in overtime. And then, you know, they continue to go into overtimes against White Demons as well. You know, 2 overtimes there, one in game 3, minute 53, and one in game 5, 18 seconds. Of course, that one was pretty quick, and I'm sure they're glad it wasn't as long as the overtime in game 5 against Guild. But they do seem to be, you know, reveling in them, because they won both those series 3-2. And yes, you could say it's incredibly close, but, you know, if there's a team at the moment that can go right down to the wire and hang on to that pressure and deal with it, they're showing they're very, very capable.
Well, it seems to be capable as well, and just even allude to the fact as well in terms of at least Game 5's RCD, when the rivals here was around, they of course become the Giants. Tox was funny enough at that team during the period. Well, that could have been a different series for them, but a decent result there. But enough necessarily about OTs, but how about we move into more the factual side of the statistics as well here. Not necessarily good in terms of the numbers if you were an SK Game fan at all here, Aidan, because only one of them is in the top 10, and that's Tox, and that's for saves, 2.08 per game as well, suggesting they play very defensively on the counter-attack. And is that the play style against top Blokes that you're hoping for?
Well, it's gonna be important for SK Gaming to have a strong defense, because I think at the moment top Blokes, the only thing they're really showing is that they can attack. They're not defending well, and they're relying a lot on outscoring their opponents rather than, you know, sitting back, defending and frustrating players. And so I think for SK Gaming, really, that's going to be super important. And Tox is going to be that guy that's going to be able to sit back, and he's going to, you know, run sort of third man role to, you know, clear the ball out of danger and find his teammates. You know, on the flip side, though, you've got Ixo, and really, I would say he's a top goal scorer for SK Gaming. I think factually he is. And today he has been scoring some phenomenal goals and setting them up by himself. A lot of solo goals coming from him. I think that's going to cause a lot of problems, especially when you see the way top Blokes have been defending today. A lot of backflips awkwardly in the middle of net and not seemingly able to get the goal line saves you'd expect from them.
Well, it's time to have your prediction, of course, in chats as well. You might as well get in just before the match starts as well. It's not far away. And just even talk about those backflips as well. Archie must perform as well. That's sort of the point that you're alluding to as well. And he has been the leading goal scorer so far in terms of most tournaments. Only 3rd highest so far this regional. Can Archie fire off all the blasters here? It will be top Blokes in the orange. SK Gaming for their 3rd game back in the RLCS ecosystem. And the blue. Take it away, Ian.
Well, here we are for game number 1 of this best of 5. Top Blokes versus SK Gaming. Top Blokes looking to find a little bit of defensive form. Archie there already asked a question as Tox slaps one on target, and he does sweep it wide. Nothing too dangerous for him yet, and not too difficult, but at the moment SK Gaming testing it. The demo from Yukio onto Archie, and just as I'm saying, they haven't really tested him too strongly. A little back past the Tox. They open up the back with the demo, take the 1-0 lead, and top Blokes defending is again put to the test.
Well, you already mentioned earlier how important sometimes maybe backflipping the sort of stability side of it. Well, demo inflicted, demo occurred, and Tox right to the back will flame, left hanging, and Ixo just moving that one nicely into the corner. Nice bit of control so far. Teams have a decent period of time to warm up, get themselves ready for this regional, and a backboard just waiting to be pounced on, and Archie leaves that wisely.
Cassio trying to find a route out of defense, blocked by Tox. Archie will take over, but he's got Yukio in the midfield. He does win that 15, and now can look for the infield pass. Perhaps the shot, trying to slip it in that near post. Ixo, well ready, reads it really well, and had good patience to go to that challenge just to see what his opponent was doing with it. It's a little awkward for Archie now as he lets that ball bounce up above him. Fortunately for him, SK Game giving him a little bit of space so he can play it away from the danger. Flame with the flick over to Tox, looking for the middle now. Challenged by Yuki. That will come all the way back into the top Blokes half. And a little bit of a midfield congestion from both sides here. Not able to get it into the center in front of net. Just trying to find a little bit of ground on the field. And those demos again coming out from Ixo onto Flame to try and open up a bit of space. Yukio with a pot shot from halfway. Saved away by top Blokes. It will remain 1-0 at that 90-second mark. But Yukio trying to do something about it. Archie with the save and not a backflip.
Well, that just shows you the window already. Just sitting on the window sedge itself there, and you looked at how so far the game's been going. SK giving credit to them. Defending, technically for the first time really, this defense. Long launching clear as well here. Nice little shot. And Flame, he was caught napping, and they should be punished, will be punished. You said one. Well, it's been doubled now.
Again, it's just at the back from top Blokes. Even the touch there from Cassio into the corner, he's played it right into the path of UK. It's made well too easy. As you said, sleeping on the line, not able to get it away off their own crossbar and punish. 2 goals for the good for SK Gaming as they double their lead 2 minutes into game 1. And I would say that top Blokes haven't had much to show for their efforts so far. This time Cassio now with a long ball downfield, but a bit of hidden chase ends up with Ixo. Sees Yukio in the corner. Ixo again to the backboard. And it's just constant pressure coming from SK, testing them in all different ways, moving the ball around the field into space, looking for those passing plays, the link-up plays, but also capable of running it solo, so top Blokes not really sure what's coming at them and not really able to create anything of themselves.
Oh, will they find any creation on the remaining 2 minutes here? Because frankly, we've seen top Blokes struggle so far in this opening game here. It really might become must-win. We already seen already in the European side of things, tiebreakers coming in, being worse on the matter, but there's no tying this one. He's going straight to open net, 3-0.
It's just, again, they're not able to play out from the back. Archie gets caught, and now you've got Flame out of position. You know, he should be in a sort of back post position there, but he ends up with his back to the ball. He's unable to parry it away. At the moment, SK Gaming, they take this 3-0 lead and really untested. Perhaps now some danger that could come from the kickoff, but Tox is well ready for it. He does well to play it over Flame, deal with the pressure coming from him. Cassio will find him. The double commit coming out, maybe now uncharacteristic from SK Gaming. They look a little bit panicky just in that situation. But now it is, again, quickly played down the other side. Top Blokes being tested again and again. Ixo out wide here, trying to put it awkward for Archie. Now Yukio over to Tox to find space on the other side of the field. Could be a bit awkward though. He's forced to play this into the center of his own half. Could be dangerous as Flame was lurking. Trying to put that pressure on. Tox now with a bit of time and space. One-on-one with Cassio. Tries to go for the near post. Cassio holds his nerve and keeps the ball out of the net. And top Blokes trying to transition, but when I say trying, it really is with a lack of success. Unless they find Flame. No, denied again. Yukio's there to sweep it wide. Archie with the force, but again, no luck for top Blokes so far in game 1.
They've been trying so far here, and that's their last moment of play is almost vintage top Blokes as they get the goal to be actually put behind the net. It's just almost to be struggling, and that might be representation of their sort of spring split entirely. Also good in the big matches themselves, they are not finding the correct play, and this ball tracking all the way backwards, and any illusion of a comeback in game 1 should be shattered at this point here. But Aiden, SK Gaming, after having a shaky OT sort of sets a run here, winning game 1 very convincingly.
Yeah, well, SK Gaming, of course, there's 7 overtimes today. you'd think maybe they'd be a little bit tired, but perhaps it's also just they've been playing a lot more time on the field and they've been enjoying it. You know, they've gone into all these overtimes. They've won 2 series, one against Guild, which I'm sure they knew was going to be a tough one. They went against White Demons, who really changed their playstyle halfway through that series, and it caught SK Gaming a bit unaware, but they managed to push on through, get the Game 5 win. And, you know, White Demons, I think, is one of these teams perhaps similar to Team Queso, which kind of just fly in at the ball and, you know, are quite unpredictable in the way they approach the game. And I think they can upset a lot of teams, but SK Gaming not going to be one of those teams that have been upset. And right now, SK Gaming still in the driving seat as they take a 3-0 win in Game 1 against Top Blokes.
As you said, in the driving seat as well, and we've just seen on the overlay briefly the statistics side of it. Not much in terms of SK Gaming dominating statistically wise, bar the main scoreline that matters, and that's the actual goals being put in here. And frankly, Top Blokes here just seem sluggish. They just do not have that freedom that we usually expect them. They have Queso as a sort of hard rock as well, Flame to be for credit to it as well now, to do Archie things. That's really the adjective that gets put beside his name in Game 2. Can they maybe wrap up to the next level here, or SK Gaming might just knock Game 2 down in one swoop?
Oh, Top Blokes definitely need to change something. They have to find their footing. They got to be playing with a little bit more intensity, because haven't really, you know, you can look at stats and they might tell you one thing. If you watch that Game 1 back, see they didn't have much time on the ball. They weren't able to play out from defense comfortably. They always looked awkward. Again, looking awkward. Casio can't find a way out. Almost punished immediately by Yukio. Archie, though, with a good save this time. And does keep it 0-0. And I think so important for Top Blokes they don't concede early, because that will, you know, hurt them. And it will sting a little bit. And they will start to feel the nerves. Now, Casio back to the ball. One-on-one with Tox. Tox not picking the right side. Went straight down the middle. Ended up being a fairly easy save. Remains 0-0. First minute of play.
Well, just like that, 0-0, and we were talking last game how much Top Blokes needs to improve, and that's straight on target. Excellent stop by SK Gaming. They'll might need to continue further. If Flame, if he has his way here, will find some way of worming this one back in the middle, and Archie forcing it into the air dribble. Just the boost not there, just almost evaporating from their tanks at this point. They cannot string more than one play together here. That's the bigger issue. 90 seconds gone by, and sadly, 0-0.
Oh, UK off the ceiling here. Ixo wanted a piece of it. Tox is there ready and waiting. He's not found his mark. You can tell there. Trying to find that upper 90. Put it in the one spot you know is going to be the most difficult to stop it, but he's missed. It's gone just wide. Remains 0-0, but Top Blokes biting the bullet a little bit here. A little bit lucky to have not been punished. They have been forced into making 5 saves already. Not even 2 minutes of the game gone by. And they've only got one shot, one from Flame that did test SK Gaming. Looked dangerous, but really, it's not good enough from Top Blokes. Well, Casio trying to bang this one forward, looking for that backboard. Tox is there. Good backboard defense from him. He will play it wide into the path of Casio. Doesn't get a grip of it. Flame, though, was able to back his teammate up quickly. Now this will drop into the danger zone. Ixo keeps it out on that left side, punishing Archie again. Archie not able to get the infield path, not able to play it off the backboard. Flame looking for the middle, but Yukio is going to be the first one there, and Casio forced to back away.
Good positioning by Archie. Realises, again, that boost being problematic, and Flame just dives all the way back to his half there. The clearance wasn't a simple hoof downfield, and frankly, SK Gaming might regret that, but they still keep control. More importantly, Tox on the opposite side, and wires are being crossed at this point. Shame to see that one. Could have been a delicious play on the plate here, and Tox. Oh, this is wonderful. Delay, game management, and just toying with the Top Blokes mentality. 1 little play develops into a domino effect. 1-0.
This is just proof that Rocket League doesn't always need to be fancy. It doesn't always need to be complicated. You can really just delay and wait for your teammates to catch up, to get in positions and make things awkward for Top Blokes. Archie there gets his 3rd save with a backflip, but it's not going to be enough as they kept barreling through the SK game. Can they get a response? Iso with the save. Archie, that's his 2nd shot of the game, but denied, and that 1-0 lead hanging over the head of Top Blokes at the moment.
Might just even be worse at this point here. The headache will be growing. They cannot get this one away. Flame delays it, not until Yukio steps in, and this is just so... That was dangerous, and the crossbar being the real true saviour on that one. 90 seconds left on it, and Yukio just misses that one. Almost a hair of a difference there, in Flame forcing it through the 50, and again the top Blokes. The tank completely drained here, and SK Gaming not caring a jot here, and they're just moving the ball at ease at the moment.
Archie shooting that one with Venom, but again, SK Gaming, they're well organised at the back, spreading out, giving each other a little bit of space, not turtling up too much. They keep the momentum going, they keep moving, allows them to deal with difficult situations. Archie, though, with the drop down, did catch one player out. Tox, though, was still ready on the ground, and again, that's SK Gaming well organised at the back. When one player gets beaten, you got another man to back it up and recover the possession. Iso will get this one past Flame. Caught in the midfield by Casio as he looks in field. Yukio there. Iso with the extension of the plate wasn't able to connect, but Tox from the back is able to keep pushing on. Iso to deny this one in the midfield and push it wide again, but he may not have seen Archie putting Tox under pressure, but he's done well to play out of that situation. Casio again with these long bangs, and top Blokes as the time is going on. It seems to be hit and chase, hope for a mistake. All three players of top Blokes racking up 3 saves, and it really is just a testament of the domination that SK Gaming have in front of net. Plenty of shots on, and that will be another one, and into the back of the net to double the lead with 8 seconds on the clock. Perhaps a nail in the coffin here for game 2.
This is just incredible, the performance. You say domination, that's the perfect word. It's just been comfortable from them, and maybe a bold comment to say at this early stage of SK Gaming, the former Aether roster itself here, but this looks like a championship side. Sadly, the season for them will be over once the major. Top Blokes will have to look forward onto this, but right now they've got to play a factly foreseen positioning at the moment. Going 4th in the group will not help that cause. Going 5th and out in day 1 here could become the scenario if they get sweep here in round 4. Of course, results pending with the next round 2.
Yeah, well, top Blokes going to be fully aware of the pocket they're playing themselves into if they do lose this. It will be just 1 win from 4 series, and really for a team that on the points ranking is so high up, you'd be expecting so much more, and perhaps they're very well aware of that too, and that's adding a bit to the pressure and to the difficulties that they're having here today in this major. Yeah, Archie's been having some time off due to injuries, but I wouldn't want to put any excuses for them, because really you got to be doing better, and it's very, very lackluster so far against SK Gaming. SK Gaming, though, have had 2 game 5s today, and while they are comfortably winning this series without conceding a single goal so far, I wouldn't somehow be surprised if we see another game 5 overtime.
Well, from the neutral's perspective, game 5 is always thrilling. The teams, however, will be, of course, one-sided as obvious. Nobody wants to have the pressure going 2-0 and fighting their way back, but also the pressure after conceding 2 games on the following suit. And Archie, good defensive work to follow that one, works his way around, and Casio just taps it up towards him as well too, back into the middle, and yet just cleared away here. SK Gaming, we've talked about their offense, but their defense here, smooth, silky, it's just too good to be true at the moment.
Top Blokes, the first touch, it's always just a bit too heavy. You saw it from Archie there, and you know, we were talking earlier about how he's a threat on offense, but even he can't get it going. The touch just every time back to the opponent, You can say, well, SK Gaming playing very well, perhaps the championship side, and proving it maybe with that goal. Yukio with the assist. It's really just intelligent play, because you could have just shot that straight away. Perhaps it was, but Tox was ready. It's the 1-0, and Top Blokes are going to be sweating a little bit.
Gonna be a massive worry. Concedes one basically within a minute gone of gameplay, a bit of change, however, kept. And Tox has us a wide open shot there. Archie obviously in the net. Yes, obviously going to save that. It's just where the ball spills here, and Top Blokes has not been able to recycle the ball into a usable play from defence. and Casio right at the keeper. The second phase of play through. Flame, however, dies already here, and SK Gaming might be on a reprieve.
I didn't expect to be saying that that's the most threatening Top Blokes have looked all series so far, and it's not even a goal. Well defended by SK. They haven't been questioned too much, and I mean, really testament to them to have that focus in defense despite not having to be making a lot of saves. Still ready for it when it does come, when the danger does come into the zone. Focused, they're switched on. Now Ixo, what can he do from here? Blocked away, Tox out on the other side, using the full width of the field here. Archie trying to play it away, Yukio with the demo on flame, so no downfield outlet for Archie, but he does very, very well here to get this 50 through into this play on Tox. Casio will follow up close into the backboard where Flame is able to pop a shot away, but saved by Tox. That 1-goal lead still very, very worrying for Top Blokes as they've yet to find a way through.
Just simple as that, haven't found it, and let's just let this point sit in your mind for the remaining of this game and could be the end of the series. Top Blokes have yet to score, and they might be on the concession of another one here as this ball has been propped up. Flame, none of the Top Blokes members have found a follow through the field pass here, and Tox back into the middle and a loose ball. This is SK's shakiest bit of the performance. Are they maybe having white line fever?
Well, this is the first time in the series that you can say Top Blokes are not being outshot by SK Gaming. 3 shots apiece. They've actually tested SK Gaming. Tox picking up all 3 of the saves that were on target. And they were good saves. Top Blokes did make it difficult. They will be frustrated to still be trailing in game 3 because, of course, they've already dropped 2 games. Now from the midfield, Ixo missing this one, perhaps leaving it for Yukio. Possession not really made the most of there as he hands it right over. Tux trying to play through this back line of Top Blokes. Casio will get the better of him. Play through the midfield. Not a great touch by Ixo as that one drops down for Archie. He wants to pop this one over Yukio. Doesn't find a way through. Tox now on the attack. Yukio extending the play to the corner. Ixo and Yukio, though, double committing onto that attack could cause a little bit of problem. Ixo trying to recover, will get the demo. There's a shot that really looked like that was going to be the equalizer, but Yukio now rising to the occasion. Before it was Tox with all the saves. Yukio now picking up for SK Gaming as well. 4 saves now for Tox, defending that one from Casio. 44 seconds to go, and Top Blokes looking the more dangerous side. Can they find an equalizer?
They have to at this point. It will be GG and move on to the next round for both sides here. In Flame to the back wall. He would like to prolong the game, and Casio, he's put it near enough wide. The double touch. Oh, he will be thanking the stars and the post to bounce back on this one here. SK Gaming will have a bit of resentment with that touch.
Oh, Casio will have been watching that ball as he hit it, and he thinking, please don't hit the post, because you can never trust that post. You never know what's going to happen, but there could be some danger on the cards. Right for the kickoff, Tox is in the middle, saved by Archie, and that could have been heartbreaking for Top Blokes after the amount of pressure they've managed to put on SK Gaming here in game 3. Working hard for the equaliser. Can they now take the lead with 10 seconds to go? Archie into Ixo. Casio there, waiting just outside the danger zone. Making things awkward for SK Gaming. This one's going to stay in the air. Archie onto it. The drop down flame is there. Can he find Casio? But no. He will head into overtime, and it will perhaps spell upset for Top Blokes. Or perhaps Top Blokes can take it to game 4.
Well, it's almost at this point here. Is it game 5 or an OT? An SK Gaming guarantee. That's how it seems to be on today of day 1 of the major. They already had their 3rd longest in the split so far. Mentioned before this point here, Isco would like to have it shut down early as possible, and Casio up. Nice air dribble. And no bit of defence here has been open up majorly so here for Top Blokes. In Flame went up, challenge unsuccessful. Yukio straight clearance, Knots, and Archie reads it perfectly, has the double, he has it all right, and SK Gaming sweep. No, Top Blokes survive.
Honestly, from a neutral perspective, you'll be happy to see this. If you're an SK Gaming fan, you're going to be biting your nails again because the series continues when really you would have thought they'd have closed it out with a clean sweep. Top Blokes, though, good to see Archie stepping up and looking more like his former self, really performing in Game 3 here, coming through with 3 saves and a goal to add on top of that. I would say today the most impressive player for me was Casio from Top Blokes, but this game, Archie now again showing what he's made of as we head into a Game 4.
That would be the case as well, and it just seems a bit of a strange one. Before that point, we were talking potentially of an SK Gaming sweep. That's how dominant they were. Top Blokes haven't scored, and we talked about Archie things. He has showed up in Game 3. It's the question of how much stability, how much determination, and how much is left in the tank for Top Blokes as well, because those defeats in terms of individual games will play on the mindset, especially on the younger player in the form of Archie here, on one of the biggest stages, if not the biggest stage, Aiden. And, well, the question is simply this: reverse sweep?
Well, they could maybe do what White Demons have been trying to do all day long. I would say one game could make you start to hope, start to feel like it's on the cards. Really, Top Blokes will need an identical performance to the last game. The first time I've seen them look the better side in this series, and really one of the better performances for them of the day so far. Of course, they've been clean swept today twice already, so they do deny it this time around.
We have plenty of more words surely left in this particular match script, unknown to us, and thankfully so here as we get the enjoyment of it. But spare a thought as well. Top Blokes' coach as well, Rams, probably giving a few instructions, and Snatsky as well, one of the OGs probably in the scene that many people, especially from the free-to-play section, might not know. When Archie has a decent clearance and Tox sets himself up perfectly, double drop, not necessary. A peach of a pass, but Casio launches downfield here. Top Blokes here, they've got themselves back into it, surely.
Oh, it's much better play from Top Blokes. Actually able to play out from the back, soak up the pressure, looked a bit more sort of composed on defense. Oh, trying to find Tox there. That could have been a rather dangerous attack, and Top Blokes again dealing well with it. Archie with a demo on Tox. This could be a problem for SK. But they do well. Iso manages to get this wide out of the danger zone. Now Yukio into it, but he only flies it as far as Flame, who finds Archie, and it will be in off the crossbar just around that 90-second mark. Top Blokes take the lead.
A soft, delicate touch as well, and 2 defenders. Oh, we just threaded that one perfectly, and we talked about Archie being that sort of golden striker capable. Well, he just shows it perfectly there. And 90 seconds gone by, it was SK Gaming twice beforehand. He had a nice run of goal scoring, didn't need to do much bar scoring. Sounds so simple. Top Blokes failed in that department. 1-0 already for them, and defending in Yukio hasn't been caught off guard here. Would have been 2 if so, and Casio moves in for the second phase of play this time.
Tox trying to carry this one through, blocked by Flame. Iso wants to pop this one on target, but there's no real power behind the shot. And Archie has already got 3 saves this game. That's really showing how he's improved over the day. Because in defense, he'd been looking awkward earlier on. Now doing bits for Top Blokes. Tox now with a bit of time and space. Top Blokes sitting it off. Archie throwing himself at this one. A little awkward. Fortunately for him, Casio was out on the other side, who got in the way. I'll take this up the wall. Casio looking for something from the ceiling, blocked by Tox, but it comes perfectly into the middle for Flame. No real venom behind the shot. Try to stroke it home, but Yukio is able to counter with a ground away dribble. Tox into this one. The pressure on from SK Gaming at the moment. Casio, though, with a great clear downfield for Archie, who extends the play. Flame coming in to Yukio quickly. Will read the clear. Casio's there in the middle, blocked by Iso. He had to go quickly. You got to respect that from Iso. No fear into that challenge as he does deny Top Blokes going any further ahead.
Oh, fabulous pass and play, and Casio didn't push too far, didn't trust it. Maybe expected a shot to be much more potent than that. And Yukio, nice 1-2. And that's a good stoppage by Artis there. Chalks back into the middle here. Should be a Casio clearance and not enough boost for the double. And Yukio not even respecting that one. Launches it downfield and saying, I can do it better than you can.
Well, and I think Top Bloke's first goal in this series came in game 3. It took them a while to find it, coming back from 1-0 down. And since that goal, though, they seem to have breathed new life into the team. Found that confidence. Even in defense, where expect them to be a little weaker and their attack to shine, they're stepping it up and playing a bit more positive Rocket League here as Archie lets this one go for Casio. He's not able to play through Iso. Yukio with the shot, blocked by Casio. Hat-trick of saves for him as Iso looks for the backboard again. Flame, though, well organised and well prepared for the clear. This one's going to go straight to Yukio. He's got great control from the ground, but Archie jumped very, very early to get possession back for his team. Casio with the flip reset. Flames lurking. It will be 2-0. They double their lead. Top Blokes back in control, and game 5 is right around the corner.
Did say it was a guarantee when SK Gaming's around 47 seconds to find 2 goals. It's a massive ask, and realistically, we're going to score pretty much early from this kick-off here if they want any faint bit of hope here. And Chalk's already up in Yukio. Last man here, and that earlier play, as Yukio's fabulous control, let's give him credit, was it due? Archie just snatched it and moved it across here to show you one play can change the dynamics of this matchup, and an infield pass already like that for the double. Not happening, but Yukio went for target, however. Blocked it where it goes, and the clock has truly dwindled from that moment. I think at this point here, everybody prepare for a game 5 thriller.
Well, that will mean that SK Gaming in RLCS, 100% of their series will have gone all the way to game 5. And 8 of 14 of those games have gone to overtime. And they really are showing up to be the entertainers. Definitely gonna get a lot of interest from the neutral scene and perhaps earn a few fans just for the entertainment value. But it is going to be Top Blokes who put the pressure back on and are riding this train of momentum, which they found in game 3. They left it a little late, allowed SK Gaming up onto that match point, but here they are now, all level, and it will just be one game between them.
That seems to be, and we don't mention all the statistics and everything else at this point here. Might as well throw it out of the window, because game 5 is a different beast to actually get sort of into the feeling of it. Just make sure you're composed. And we had Juicy, the Wolves Esports actually coach himself early on the stream. Juicy talked about moments of it, sort of case of he didn't even know what was happening himself, because it was that confusion, the adrenaline kicks in, and so does the emotion side of it. But do you still back the Top Bloke reverse sweep at this point?
Well, you know, Top Blokes have looked a lot better since game 3. Definitely there in game 4. Very comfortable for them. And SK Gaming, of course, they tested them a couple times. But SK Gaming have a 100% win rate in game 5. So, I guess we haven't had a lot of series to go off of. Statistically, I would suggest they'd be able to take it. Perhaps Top Blokes can break that streak. And given the way they played over the last 2 games, they do look the more threatening side. But it is early pressure coming from SK Gaming. Aito with the drop down. Archie was there, and it really was a cause for concern for Top Blokes early on. And had SK Gaming taken a lead so early, their nerves would surely be rattled.
Well, Flame just leaves that one. Aso straight up and around here. And speaking about that one there, as well, just rattles off the wall. And Casio just trying to keep possession, playing smartly as well too. One of the players that you talk about, intelligence in the game, outstanding at times, and here he is already disrupting the offensive and defensive clears, whatever it was trying to get rounded. And Flame, back wall, and Casio waits patiently, was third man, waited until Archie gets back into it. And well, it looks like Flame had a bit of a argy-bargy there with Isco, a bit of maybe a telling off there to an extent, didn't let him get away from this grasp.
Well, Flame wants to regain control of possession, but Yukio has got other ideas as he comes barreling through the air there. Ixo with a very big touch up into the midfield. It's fallen for Archie, who drops it down. The midfield battle is starting to heat up. Neither teams have had clear routes through into the danger zone and into the front of net. And neither team looking threatening enough to take a lead. Now Archie playing this one off the wall. Tox I just try to play this out of defense, but he's had a heavy touch. Yukio to try to clear, but that try denied by Cassio. He's trying to find a bit of control, but again, a high flick ends up at Archie. He's got a bit of control in the flip reset. Yukio with the save, reading it well. This is fun to Cassio, and he will roll it home for the 1-0. Top Blokes, since regaining form in Game 3, seem to be on a roll.
Maybe as well, and SK Gaming's first goal this series was very much similar as well. Demo goal scored, and well, Top Blokes maybe dishing out the medicine that they had to swallow that time around. And Tox, a heavy touch there to an extent, but wasn't heavy enough to get past the offensive player. And Yukio just going straight to net here. There's no trust or no options, at least up front there. Second one, not sizzling. Tox will just keep this one in middle. It's just a question of how and using the ceiling to be more precise. And yet again, Archie just leaves the ball and clears it at the right time. So Top Blokes, as you said, has found their feet since Game 3.
SK Gaming's 100% record now threatened, and it's Top Blokes who are doing that. The team who have not had the most comfortable of days. They're now leaving it very late in the day to find their form, and a win here would be very important for them. I do think it would guarantee that they do go through to the playoffs. They would be on a 2-2 record, and at White Demons, of course, they're sitting there on a 0-3, so their day would be a little bit ruined by Top Blokes taking this series. All hope would be lost for them. At the moment, though, Yukio wants to find a way through the field. He's looking for Tox here. It's defended by Cassio as Flame wants to get past Ixo. Can Ixo get another touch? But Cassio again pushing it wide. Yukio with the shot. Archie coming across quickly to sweep it away. Now the counter attack from Cassio. Let that ball get a little too far ahead of him, and Tox is again able to get forward, trying to punish Flame, though. It was a little easy for him, and SK Gaming shots not too much cause of concern for Top Blokes just yet, and a drop down by Flame will ensure they double their lead, and with 1 minute 22 seconds left on the clock, SK Gaming will be feeling the nerves.
Unfortunately, looking at from Iso's own perspective there, I think that might be a bit of miscommunication. Nerves surely a factor here, and jeopardy, as you said, game of 5, 100% win rate might be dashed. And that one by Tox dished away perfectly. 70 odd seconds, bit more time compared to game 4 to grab at least one goal to give themselves an edge to tie things up here. It seems unlikely, it might be unlikely, and over the ball to Tox here. Nice bit of control, scrappy on the recovery, but still has possession. That's the key matter.
Well, to remind you, when SK Game played against White Demons at Game 5, they were comfortably winning, and White Demons managed to score, I think, 3 goals in just over a minute's play to tie it all up. So SK Gaming maybe trying to replicate what White Demons did to them to be able to perhaps take it into an overtime. But with 30 seconds left, that dream could very well be dying out. That light at the end of the tunnel getting ever so dim. Tox plays this one a little too wide, and Cassio happy to keep it close. That's come awkwardly into the middle. Flame has reacted well. Ixo was breathing down his neck, and that would have been a chance to get a 2-1 and bring it a little closer. Now with 10 seconds on the clock, it's incredibly unlikely that SKM will salvage something from this. Looking for Yukio. Can he get something on it? Off the crossbar, Archie there as well. And an important save to ensure they do take game 5. That ball will drop down, and Top Blokes have gotten themselves a reverse sweep when honestly I thought all odds were against them.
That's just shocked to see that as well too, and a 5-game thriller as mentioned earlier in the series. 3-0, 2-0, SK Gaming. We used the word domination, it was in, and yet that goal from Cassio was that sort of spark, the kindle to get everything going there, and 2-0 down the board from that point onwards. Incredible. 1 goal only from SK Gaming here. That has shook the Group B standing significantly as well, and it just makes that 4th spot a little bit more precious as well, because that opens the door for White Demons too.
It absolutely opens the door for White Demons, and to think that Guild Esports are the team in this group that are now being threatened of being knocked out and not making to the playoffs, I don't think I would have predicted that myself. I would have thought at least top 3 for Guild. They've not had the best of days. Of course, they've only played and completed 2 series so far, depending on, of course, the result between them and Soli, which I do think is going to game 5. But if they don't win that game 5, White Demons will be looking to steal that 4th spot in round 5.
Well, it might be as well too, and we're just seeing all the replays are found with some of those shots have been too, and it's just been incredible. And I think maybe a brief look at maybe the standings as well, or even the schedule itself. I'm particularly on that one, Ian, because the schedule itself was said match of the day. Well, look at that schedule earlier and you just thought yourself, is SK Gaming versus Top Blokes, is that going to be the true match of the day? I thought it was. Bacon thought it was. Was it in your opinion?
It was 100% entertaining. The fact that we got the reverse sweep, the fact that we saw a very, very lackluster Top Blokes turn into a Top Blokes, which we may have been more used to seeing a couple of months ago, was for me beautiful to see, and to see them bounce back in the way they did. And I think it's gonna come very, very close, this series, and of course the SK versus Guild, the 5 overtimes. You can't not love that.
Well, can't knock it, but as well, everything on screen there, as you can see it, BTS 3-1 mentioned there, Queso, but unfortunately German Amigos picking it up as well. And it's time for, of course, the group standings as well too, because I've been working a little bit hard, Ian, for the mathematics, and would you like to know which teams have been guaranteed into day number 2, the penultimate of the European region?
Well, I'm going to assume one of them is BDS, right?
Well, we might as well start a Group A as well. You are correct. 3-0 with a +6 BDS. Oh, they have secured it. Vitality 2-1. They are safe due to how the matchup has gone as well. Queso, BS plus competition in German Amigos. 1-2 or 1-3, as you can see at the bottom. They are fighting group and game differential. Will, of course, play into that one. But Group B, and Ian, same question, who do you think has been saved into this position for a guaranteed playoff bracket?
Well, I would assume that Solary has definitely confirmed a spot. I'm not sure how their series against Guild are going, but I do believe they were up on 2-0 with a game differential of +4, so I think it would be hard to knock them out of the group, especially with White Demons on 0-3. So I think any team with 2 wins should be confirmed to go through.
Well, that may be the case as well. The Guild and Solar happening on the main channel in game 5, more specifically 1-1. But to wrap things up, Solary, SK Gaming, Top Blokes all secured because of that game 5. Any of the 2 wins got them through. Guild and White Demons, that will be the battle. Oh dear, hard things will be going there, as Guild versus White Demons may be the decider on that one, but of course be on the next 2 channels. But here, from the Rockets at least point of view, we are done for the European region. And Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure. What a fantastic set of day we've had.
Absolutely, it's been lovely to be here and have the chance, of course, always with the major, it's always great, and what a series we did get to enjoy. And of course, all of the series today that we've seen on the Rocket RB have been fantastic as always, and of course everyone in the back, of course Ben Surrett and all the other casters and all the other Rocket RB staff that have been involved have been delightful. So for me, it's been thoroughly enjoyable Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that's everything wrapped up, ready to go. So we're going to send you on the way to the main channel for the Rocket to see the remaining games. But hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow, or as I said, the VODs there for the YouTube as well too. Fantastic games, worth the watch again. Until next time, good night.